there's also a chance that y'all not pick what I want to pick, which happens a lot. So I will say, like, I don't like this place and this place. Y'all really gonna be like, we gonna go do this, and y'all might be majority outworld me. So I'm also okay with that.
Oh, well, then I can agree with you, and then we could just like keep pushing.
That's true. So I'm leaving it open. I'm leaving it open as fuck.
And welcome to Conscious Reconstruction.
Oh, shit.
A little negotiation on.
There's no real negotiation. That was basically me saying, Ash, you're not allowed to opt out.
Nah, you're right. I was trying to like.
It's like, I know this.
Just a little. But Charles caught me. That's why I like Charles. Charles be calling me out. Charles be like, "Excuse me, what's going on here?" And he makes me reflect on my decisions.
It requires me to be real familiar with you to really be. I mean, I'm naturally confrontational. I'm not gonna lie about that.
No, I fucks with it. Thank you. That's what I hope to surround myself with, people that be like, check yourself.
I'm not trying to say check yourself.
No, you do it without doing it. Not like, hey, bitch, listen. It's more of a natural floor. No, but that's what makes it great, because you're not trying to be like, Ashley, do this, motherfucker. I just literally be like, damn, I never noticed that I did that. And Charles be saying shit, and I'd be like, I'll be deep reflection about it.
Oh, that's the natural state that me and Tony exist in sometimes. It's like, I have no problem arguing with Tony. I know we're not done with this argument.
As long as you understand.
It's like, I understand that this is going to be a multi-staged argument.
Yeah,
Multi-staged.
Yeah, no, because you're tripping. You're wrong.
I'm not tripping. These are completely and totally separate entities. It's laundering.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
It's literal.
Because I'm not going to take any money.
Time is money, friend.
No.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Not in the government's eyes, so it's not laundering.
Moving on to things that are not business.
It's like, I'm going in the law.
Oh, yeah, y'all definitely said y'all was going to hash this out later.
You want to talk about Batman?
No.
No.
How you not want to talk about Batman?
Not yet.
Why would you want to talk
Did
about
she
Batman?
even introduce us?
And that
He
terrible...
didn't. He was like, hey, what's up? Like, he on a roll. Like, he is damn sure like, why is y'all not moving as fast as I in my mind that y'all should be moving at?
Yeah.
Damn.
Chill out.
Y'all gotta be at the same speed.
Chill.
He's
like, this is...
in the background talking shit.
Yeah. Because you know we right. This nigga moving like 15,000 miles per hour. It should have been done yesterday. That's not how lots of things work. But if you feel like it should work like that, and feel how you want to feel. No.
Oh, whoa. What's this supposed to mean?
Nah.
It's different than working with men. That's
No.
That is very true. No, I seen that shit rear its ugly fucking head one day. Listen, we had this whole thing. You want to go first?
Yeah, explain.
I'll go first. Because this is where the defining moment I'm like, oh, nigga, testosterone is very much needed. We was when I used to work for a customer service thing, it was like our beginning stages. So they took everybody in this little training session, like how to be better, whatever. So we get in there. No niggas in this entire office. I promise you, the only people that are men that are around is the two people that own it. And then I think they hired one dude. So it's 3 men out of maybe 20, 30, some 40, some women. So we go into this little training. The only training was like, 10 girls in there. They had a whole list, like a whole little nice list for us to go over. If you have any questions, this is the time to bring it up. If you have any concerns, blah, blah, blah. Of course, what these bitches start doing, they start talking about how they feel, and everything went off rails. It was no structure. I'm like, I came here to do a thing, and y'all talking about how I don't like this because of this, and I'm like,
bitch, leave.
I got so frustrated. You probably talking about something way different, but I also know.
Yeah.
I feel like if y'all text me about something show related, and let's say I don't respond, y'all don't feel a way about that.
No? What? Huh?
Generally, women feel more of a way. Like, if I didn't respond to Charles gonna be alright with that.
I'll just pick up the phone and call him and say, oh. Because obviously either something's going on, so I'll call him later.
But if me and Charles don't speak, Charles is not gonna take that personally.
Mm-hmm.
I can go a whole week without talking to Tony.
No, you're right. You're right.
I might take something, like if y'all say, hey, y'all doing the show, if I just completely ignore it, just don't be like, yeah, of course we doing the show. It's every Sunday. So as I just don't respond, y'all don't feel a way. Or if y'all ask me a question about the show or about something like that, and I just be like, I see it. I'm gonna get to them when I see them next week. Y'all not gonna like that. That's not gonna be an acceptable. No, yeah, exactly. So
nope.
You're absolutely right. You got 2 hands. You should be
what the fuck is going on?
responding. If you see it, just
What
say
is happening
yeah.
here?
Exactly.
Yeah,
No, but you know what? When I was like, dang, I can't make it, I don't feel very good. This nigga sent me like 3 back-to-back texts and then called and was like,
Well, no.
see now,
It
that's the
sounded
conundrum
like-
of him.
Strep throat is one time. You're like, God,
That's the conundrum of him. Like, he don't like it when it happened to him, but
Right.
he'll do it to somebody
No,
else.
it had
and
nothing to do about that. It was a very ambiguous. Oh damn, I can't.
I was hoping
I
y'all
was-
wouldn't ask y'all. I didn't think I was like contagious. Like, bitch, you gotta go get tested. I'm like,
It
I
had
hope they
nothing to
just be
do
like,
with that.
okay,
it was more so the
Ash.
fact that we rescheduled it and we were
no,
trying
don't
to.
go. I was like, y'all could just go ahead.
Well, see, for me, I don't mind if y'all text me back to back or call or anything like that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, Tony is definitely, and it happened because I didn't understand. We'd all talked. We'd all decided, all right, we're gonna do Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It wasn't gonna happen.
And then you said, "No, I'm not gonna be there." And I was like, "Wait." So that's why I had to call. I was like, "But we talked about Saturday."
No,
so
I was
Saturday
damn sure
worked.
hoping y'all wouldn't ask. I was
So
like,
we could just, if
oh, okay, we'll just
Sunday's
record.
better, we'll do Sunday for you.
I was just hoping y'all would be like,
Oh
we'll
no!
just record
Well,
without
my
you.
thing is just like, all right, well, it's just gonna be me and Tony. Well, this ain't happening. I guess we'll reschedule it next week. And Tony was like, no,
it's happening today.
I had Katrina on lock already. I know I keep it in motion.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't even that.
everybody was feeling better. I'm like, let me come back.
Mm-hmm.
Life was whooping my ass. I'm like, God damn.
That's funny because that's exactly what I'm doing. Those things I'm going to talk about.
Exactly.
Nah, it was just 100% like.
This nigga, because he was like, oh god, they're rescheduled. I'm like,
I was saying, we were about to schedule, and Tony just immediately stepped on the brake. It was just like, absolutely not.
Yeah, like what are you talking about reschedule? That's not what. How did we get here?
He immediately called you and me. It's just like, all right, where are we at? Well, it's
No,
like,
it's
we
not
about to
how-
do the
it's a
show.
normal day.
There's only 2 of us. We ain't doing Conscious Street
I
Construction.
was like, no, there's 3. There's still 3. I don't know what you're talking about reschedule. Katrina is online for Saturday. We're talking about reschedule.
Look, I just held it down for you.
go ahead. I was like, I'm not doing it
How
today.
is rescheduling?
It was a football day too. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna watch this football. And Tony was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, here he go.
Dude, what you think you out here doing?
Shiftless ass. Hey, you have Sunday off. That's
I know, but I would also like to have both.
That's fair. I guess that's fair. But yeah, no, I was like, we can't do that.
It's like we got a whole Sam's Club podcast to talk about football.
But if Ash doesn't want to start, I guess I'll start. So I'll start with, I'll shoot you in the face.
How about not?
Yeah, it's the story title. So, a man threatened his children that if they snitched on him for going to the Capitol, that he would shoot them.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
Well, apparently that didn't work out the way he thought it would.
I just want to know what y'all thought about that. Like,
Why?
could you imagine threatening Riley for telling on you? Oh, that's crazy.
Don't threaten your kids.
Yeah. Well,
I birthed you.
I
Better
bro,
shut the fuck up.
He said,
Y'all
"You
be
know what?
married.
talking too much. Look, we had to.
Telling me that's
I
treason.
brought you in this world.
I tell you, really
out.
nice.
You
Listen,
have to make treason
don't-
get shot. You know what happens to
you could be
traitors,
treason.
right?
Yeah, you can treason in the
Well,
house.
first things
Your
first.
kids were getting shot.
The only people you're allowed to tell is close family members, and they better not say shit
And
either.
your entire
Something
parlor
happened
account.
to me. Something happens to me. This is who you tell. You're not gonna be the first one to know because you're a kid. So what's be the point of you flapping your gums anyway? Shh. Shut the fuck up. I don't know, kids. They just get the. My mother specifically waits for my child to snitch on me.
Wow.
She sits there and be like, "Oh damn, you know I get a package." My mother opened up my fucking mail. Still to this day, I'll bring
That's
a package
illegal.
upstairs. Illegal as fuck. I go upstairs, take my package. She looking. I come back down. Riley like, "Mommy, can I open the package?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I already know what it is. Open the package. Next thing I know, they in the fucking corner talking about what the fuck I got in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see?
I'm just saying that you can't tell your daughter that you're gonna shoot her in the face.
First thing.
That's a little far. That's a
Also-
little far.
He said, "I will shoot y'all if I tell you for going to the Capitol."
Parents
I
gotta
just-
unite on this one. Shut
I
your
find it
fucking
hilarious,
mouth.
'cause
Damn,
first
you
things
talk
first.
too much.
Shooting your kids in the face is not
Bitches.
hilarious.
I would say what
I find it
remember?
hilarious that specific dude was looked at it as just like, damn, this could really fuck me up. I'll shoot you in the fucking face, kid.
And I'll laugh about it with you later. Like, haha, remember the time I said I was going to threaten to kill you?
But you know the worst thing?
Laugh with me about threatening to kill me.
Yeah, we
But
can.
at that point,
It's hilarious.
he did something worse. Because quintessentially, you never told your kids that you couldn't tell anybody else about you threatening to shoot them in the face. So now you tell someone that your father threatened to shoot you in the face because he took, or if you didn't keep this secret, you probably look worse than just going to the Capitol.
Oh, well.
You know
they
what?
shut the fuck up, didn't they?
You know what? I've been thinking, like, Trump is, like, real fucking smart.
He was identified on, like, film and everything like that.
Yeah,
That's
see,
how
he
got
talk-
caught.
This
And
is
it's
my
just funny. It's
problem.
just like, sir, there are so many cameras there. Why do you think that if you told your kids not to kill you, that would...
Because them niggas need to shut the fuck up. What the fuck do
Wait a minute. I
I
want to say one thing because I wasn't here during the Capitol riots or whatnot, but I just want to say Trump is really fucking smart. He got white people to do his bidding, ain't parting none of them, and earning money from them. Raising money.
Is that the way of the world? Exactly.
Well, his political campaign, which is technically its own separate entity because they still owe people money.
Yeah, okay.
If you take money from that, it's a federal crime.
Yeah, he's gotten away with so much. It's ways to get around everything.
I'm
Trust
a terribly
me.
petty person, so it means if, like, he's very lucky that I wasn't the person elected.
Shooting kids in the face. That did not do that. Just to put a
Shut
bow
up.
in that one.
No, just no.
I'm so mad that Ash came back in.
Right here.
That's exactly why.
Well,
Shot in the face because you just want to keep talking.
and this is the reason why we can't take Ash to the shooting range again.
Shut up.
Can't teach her how to. That we will be directly let's just
Responsible.
revert.
Why y'all keep trying to do this? So
We didn't think this was a rational thing to do with
yeah, the
you.
fact that he was just like, I'll shoot y'all.
Just describe how you would kill
Not the
them.
one that did this crazy shit.
Okay, I'm going to bring this back.
If you enter within a 10-block radius of the Capitol building, your face is probably on video.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that two gentlemen was having this argument last week about how maybe people shouldn't threaten their fucking wives when they didn't win the game for a particular thing. And one of y'all was totally with that. And I think you'd understand that my force in that situation, extreme as it is, it's effective.
Who said they would be okay threatening them? Who said that threatening your wife was okay?
I'm not gonna look at him. I don't know where he at in this room.
When did this comment happen?
This happened last week. I remember somebody was vehemently like, no, this is totally okay. I saw both sides of these gentlemen's
Last
story.
week?
I was there. The week, whatever. I was there when somebody was like, no, I definitely understand why you would threaten somebody's wife so we can win these games. And I could damn sure see, like, that's very extreme. Those things shouldn't be happening.
I see what you're talking
So
about.
this is what I'm talking about. Those extreme situations where you need to shut the fuck up and I need to drive this home to you. Shush. I don't know who that was.
I'm gonna be quiet.
I don't know who that was, and I don't want to put him on front sheet. But I do know that somebody understands now what the fuck I'm talking about. Sometimes these extreme situations, and it's fucked up, will definitely yield me the results that I need.
They didn't get the results that they needed.
He went out there. He knew how dangerous that is. As a parent, you know how dangerous this is. This is not something. I'm telling you to be quiet so you don't add any more information that don't need to be told. I know what I'm doing, or at the very least, I feel confident in what I'm doing. You can't add fuel to this fire.
There's no fuel that needed to be added.
But would you spewing out extra information that don't need to be spewed out, which kids have the tendency to do? Shh, go to your room.
Oh, you told them to cooperate with the police your entire life, and now they going back on it.
Like, if you snitch, kill your ass. It's like, wait, which one?
I'm not telling you to go back
on.
on something I told you. First of all, would I tell my child not to cooperate with the police? Absolutely not. Because if you got a gun to if my brother had a gun to his face or a fucking cop for no particular reason, he's not going to just shoot my brother. Someone's going to get fought, and it's probably going to be the cop. So I would never tell my child to blindly follow the cops in every situation. That's weird, and no one should ever be telling the kids to follow about every situation.
We are talking about very different situations in very different households.
This is true. And the general consensus would be to listen to the police.
So what I understand is parents will tell their kids, "I'll shoot you in the face."
You even told way worse. Like I've been kicked down whole sets of stairs because I threw away somebody's Cheerios. What are you talking about? I've had way worse committed against me. So did I get really dark?
Yeah, that sounds like a sibling.
No, it wasn't. But I'm just saying, like, parents have the capacity to
My
be
parents have
fucking
never put their hands
horrendous.
on me like
For
that.
cereal?
But I'm just saying, like, the extremity of what parents go through. I underestimate that. I don't think we remember, like...
No!
But you've been wrong for something that you felt like you didn't do, like...
Got my butt whooped for, like,
But, like,
breaking
if you've
shit.
done something like, oh, man, I spilled something, and they just whooped your ass just to be shit like that.
No, for me, there's definitely a time, like...
Or, like,
let me explain the scenario.
do the crime
My
fit
little
the...
cousin had one of my favorite books,
All right.
and I told her, don't drop it in the water. And what she done? Little bitch dropped it in the water.
He talked to his cousin like that to this day, I bet.
What did
do?
Uncle Tony do?
Wrap his hands around her throat and push her over the couch and start choking the life out of her. Until I'm gonna choke your tongue out of your head.
Is this the same person who fell out a window?
Yes, it is.
See, no. There is more things leading up to this that
Jesus,
could possibly. This girl fell out a second-story window
She did.
because Tony didn't want to change the channel to Barney because he hates it.
Me and my cousin didn't want to do that.
But
Excuse me.
I was there.
Tony don't have no
Yeah,
children.
no, I definitely choked the fuck out of her.
Jesus
And
fucking
then
Christ.
My mother came and grabbed me, and she says I flared up. I don't remember this, but all I remember is my mother boxing me.
See? You don't remember.
And
Blackouts
then I was
happen.
on the ground scrambling, trying to get the fuck away. And I remember my grandfather grabbing her. So yeah, no, I definitely can say like, yeah, parents can take it a little extra.
Exactly.
little.
And stop acting like they don't. Like, my parents would
Oh,
never.
yeah, I was gonna stop
no,
you.
my parents just
You
did.
was gonna stop me. I'm your child. She's like, no, you flared up at me. You thought you could fight me like a man? I'm a treat you. I am a 12-year-old.
You need to square up.
Regardless of what I thought, you know what I'm capable of, and it's not beating your ass. How about that? How about that?
Yes. Like,
So
I'm
I
so
can
sorry. Like,
understand
the dysfunction in my family. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh
She
my
dropped the
God.
Percy Jackson book inside of the water.
I don't know. No, it wasn't even that. I think it was like The Giver or something like that. I'm a really big fan of The Giver. As
Me too.
The book. Like, not the movie. The movie wasn't that great, but the book I really fucked with.
So
And I think it was because it was like my first introduction to like a dystopian world or a utopian dystopian society.
Oh, man, I
And,
love
like,
that book. Jonas is my nigga trying to
explore,
escape.
like, the society like constraining you and then like breaking out of that and then just that whole just like dichotomy.
Or being
And
the
then
chosen one.
or
That
the guy
shit.
also, like choosing to help you because
The
he's
fucking chosen
been
one.
so bogged down in this system that he kind of went along with it, but he hates it too, and so he's like, "Fuck it." I see someone that's willing to do more than I was willing to do, so I'm gonna go behind them and help. And so for me, that was like my first like touches with that. And so that was my favorite book. And she threw that bitch in the water, and she got it. Oh yeah, I was choking. Both here, 2-hand grip. I'm gonna take the life.
Yo, that happened with me. Oh my God. That just brought back the memory. My brother took one of my favorite CDs when I was collecting CDs and like broke it in half because we was fighting or something.
what CD was it?
It was like from this classic rock band. Like, you could easily buy it again.
I was just trying to figure out like.
At this point, it don't matter. This nigga broke it in half. And next thing I know, like, we over here scrapping. My brother come in the room. He throw water on my face. He said I slapped him first, but I really don't remember. I remember getting slapped. I remember feeling like the victim. I was like, my brother was like, you've never hit me before. So he slapped me, and I'm like, what's happening? I don't be balling with my brother. But I do know, like, what that is when you just flip, like, damn, this is the only thing that I have, and you trying to take it away from me. It's time for someone to get
Father has
hurt.
never laid a hand on me.
For real?
Really?
No.
Your
Hey,
daddy?
my daddy did.
No.
He had 2 girls.
Like there is a
Shit.
like for a lot of the people that I know, there is a very clear distinction. The men typically never lay a hand on the children. That is always left to
Dad
the woman.
said you gonna learn
and
today.
my mother, after a certain point, just stopped.
What?
It was not the method of like I can deal with pain. I don't like pain, but if
My
it
grandfather used to grab both of my shoulders.
Shake the shit. This is my
Shake
favorite
the
story.
shit out of you.
my grandfather never laid a hand on me.
Oh, man, like that old black man got different strength.
I don't know how,
Stop.
like snap your head back.
Yeah.
Just imagine that in
Tuck your
constant
chin.
action.
Tuck your chin.
Right. There ain't no tucking your chin.
No, this nigga
12.
just-
And he got, my grandfather is a championship Golden Glove boxer. He got that old man strength.
Oh,
He had his hands on me and just started shaking. All I know is I just wanted my brain to stop moving.
That's the reason why you touch
Please
your chin,
stop,
Tony.
sir. Sir, please.
Get off me. Let me go. And then he could be lecturing you. Why you a dummy? Oh, you want to be? You acting like an why you acting like a dummy?
I'm doing this. I got 12
Can't
concussions.
answer any questions because you won't stop shaking me.
Cuz.
That's my
And
favorite
I'm
fucking
stunned.
story.
You in shock.
This nigga
Why you act like
Every
Why you acting like this?
It was terrible. It was the
White
worst.
people
I just
stop
want my
beating your
brain to
kids.
stop
That's not
moving.
the way to get it done.
This
Keep
nigga
beating your
sucks.
kids.
But I can never see me not necessarily putting my hands on my son.
But shaking me shit.
Punch that nigga in his face.
That's not even no marks. But you gonna really understand. I don't like what you just did.
Oh, what? Like beating somebody with a bag
Oh
of
my
oranges?
god.
Yeah, like, bruh, he was shaking.
Shake
I
the
remember
shit out of you.
one time,
Just
My grandfather used to
Fuck, I
correct
didn't
me.
tell you to talk. Answer me.
you dummy. I ain't asking you, are you dumb? I don't know after this.
Like, he used to do a lot of just weird random shit. Like, he worked in a movie theater.
That's smart.
All black people always
With,
angry,
like,
man, for
3
no
teenagers and
reason.
a mom. Yeah,
Oh
like
my God.
67 was fighting 3 teenagers and a mom. It was like every time she whacked me with the purse, I punched her son again. Grandpa, what are you doing? But yeah, that's my grandfather. He also collected cans. He rode a motorcycle. He did a lot of just very different things. He didn't drink at all. But he would go hang out with 2 people that drank nothing but beer and would get shit-faced drunk in their garage. He would sit with them and just kick it. Sober as fuck. But yeah, collect all the cans. So I decided.
Like the Nick Cans and the drunkards.
I was gonna
What a
collect
patient
cans.
man.
So I started collecting cans and everything, and then he took all my cans and put them in his collection. And if
fuck
y'all
you was
know
gonna
who
do with
Tony is, y'all know that Tony got the worst attitude in the world. I immediately went to the drawer and grabbed the first sharp object I saw and tried to stab
That's
the
not
kid.
an attitude problem. Y'all know I
Oh,
got
you
a bad
tried to
attitude
shank
problem.
Yeah, you got me fucked up.
That's
Oh,
just
you
not
learned that
normal.
lesson, didn't
You
you?
gonna steal from me?
Oh,
This
you learned
nigga
that.
said, I don't give a fuck who you are.
I'ma stab you.
He grabbed. That's when he grabbed your ass,
He
huh?
helped give
That's
you
what
life.
He stopped me, but he didn't shake me. He called my mother. I think he was really surprised at
Shit.
how violent I got.
Come get this
I
child.
would have threatened the fuck out of you. Be like, oh, you tried to shake
Yeah, I would
me.
have smacked the
Well, no.
Try
fuck
harder
out of
next time, motherfucker.
I
Cause you.
will.
Oh, no, you can't say that to Tony because he'll come slap you with a sleep.
Oh, I was no.
Old people
Tony
been just
had,
shaking.
A switch. Once that switch, I didn't see anything. I just started doing things.
Uh-huh.
I've attacked a 16-year-old. Like I speared him in the chest into a fence and just started pummeling him. I was like 13 at this time.
Uh-huh.
When I was younger, I used to have really bad anger problems. Much better now. I can articulate how I feel and things like that. Before, once I felt away, there were no words to really describe how I felt or that I could come up with, so I vocalized that physically.
That's not vocalizing it at all. You used the wrong word. You started expressing it
I was like,
physically.
I don't think you said much.
No, I did.
Oh God, this is when you were
didn't.
13 too.
I had a guy throw me in the grass, and then I popped out the bushes and punched him in the jaw and break the
But,
fight.
so Charles, your dad never laid a hand
No.
on you? Never cussed you out?
Yes.
My father really doesn't curse.
But he scolded you.
Man.
Oh, his dad then ripped him to shreds.
Yeah.
First things first.
Why couldn't I have that
Curse
dad?
words are not
Bruh.
actually
That was mean as
necessary.
fuck, man.
Oh, no.
Which is regular words.
It's like, as my grandmother has clearly dictated, curse words are not necessary to make you feel like it. Actually, if you make somebody feel bad without cursing, it probably feels a lot worse. Call somebody bitch is
yeah,
just
it
like,
does.
that's just a slap
That's
across
easy.
the face.
That's easy.
It's just like, but like,
You're just not
doing it
intelligent.
inside of basically with completely a total of functional words, it's just like, it makes you feel like the tiniest human being. But my father never really did that to me either. The majority of discipline inside of my family happened with my mother. My mother's didn't Like, I did get my ass beat as a kid, but after like 13, it really didn't happen. Also, I really didn't do anything to inspire any desire. That was for the most part my sister.
My dad cussed us out, whooped us, all types of like.
I mean, my mother was the only parent, so
My dad didn't give a shit.
I mean, all three of y'all had like both y'all parents in the household.
Well, not in the household, but
like together.
Yeah.
I mean, like
you had a co-parenting situation.
We're the picture, yeah.
Where I was just like, it was just me and my mom. So, which is actually wildly unique for a group of black people to say that most of y'all had both parents in the household and in the picture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Fuck you, statistics.
Statistics don't care.
Anytime that statistics is eating dick, I'm happy to point it out.
That is amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
you usually don't see that.
Yeah, but so, she was definitely the disciplinary in the situation. But my grandfather, every once in a while, but it was mostly when I was fucking up in school. And it was... I guess it was more when he felt disappointed in me.
You fucking up in school was an act of choice.
It was. Yeah.
That was more so the problem. It's not like you're just not doing the work.
That is true.
You're making an active choice not to do the work.
But now that you look back on it, you see why he was upset.
Oh, he probably knew the entire time.
I mean, I didn't want to do the work because it no longer. Once I get bored with something, I lose a lot of interest in it, and it becomes hard for me to like invest my time in it.
I understand.
Why do I need to practice something I already understand?
You gotta look at it from his point of view. He probably did he graduate high school? It's just
got high school, but no college stuff like that. So I definitely understand that it was important for me to be like not be an idiot because my whole family was definitely the college route. Told them, you got a high school, college, shit like that. And so when Tony was like, I can do all of the work, I honestly don't.
You don't want to.
So I'm just not going to.
But I understand.
So they'd be mad throughout the entire year. But at the end of the year, I'd always pull it together and have, like, at least
a reasonable
B, C average. Like, I'm really good at papers and tests. And for the most part, those are weighted heavier than homework. So as long as you can maintain, like, a B average there, you can pass a class.
Which I fucking hate.
I just don't do homework. I'm not doing that. But that also makes your grade throughout the year look terrible because there's a lot more homework than there are tests and shit like that.
I hate that tests outweigh homework. Because I used to do good. I suck at tests. I suck at tests. Like I've always have, and it's just like I'll do the work, and then be like, "Oh, Katrina, well, your test score." I'm like, fuck a test. Like, why the hell I gotta have so much pressure on me,
bro? I can't stand every aspect of school. I fucking hate.
I hate all of school, but I just recognize that the least amount of school I could do was just take tests and write a paper. And then not engage with it on a day-to-day basis because I don't like busy work. Homework is you taught me this all day in class. Now I gotta go home and do more busy work of the shit that you just told me. So you don't think I don't understand or don't comprehend. So you insult my intelligence.
Pretty much, and it don't teach you how to like really study a thing. It just teach you like memorization and just repeat. Yeah. That's how I pass my shit. I'm like, as long as you remember this shit. So what the fuck? Really this isn't learning. You're training me to do something.
I'm gonna remember it once I've engaged with it, and so
my major is inside a very practical thing. So when they tell me to do something, it is not very much memorization. It is very much like execution. So it's like code this thing, or what does this do, and so on and so forth. And it's all very practical. So for me, they didn't really give me busy work in undergrad or for my CS degree.
For my business degree, I didn't get a lot of busy work there. But if I'm going to talk about like high school
is all busy work.
Even in your GE, your general education classes in college, that's a lot of busy work. Like,
yeah, I can't do that shit.
My GEs, for the most part, were all tests.
Stupid.
No, think about Tri-C. You know how you would have to take the English class for Tri-C, and they want you to read a whole bunch of chapters and write how you comprehend them. Bitch, I graduated high school. If I didn't have a level of comprehension that would allow me to read something and retain the information, why the fuck would y'all allow me to graduate high school? Maybe that should be the fucking requirement before I get out of high school. So this way I can move into my career path a lot quicker, or at least engage with it for a longer period of time. Doesn't mean I have to graduate sooner, but maybe if you have 4 solid years of just engaging with your specific major, that might be more beneficial.
Depending upon where you are, like, the problem is the level of high school education that you get, despite what state tests and stuff like that inspire,
It's very wild.
is wildly different.
Which is another issue. Y'all can't say that, oh, we have this state standard. No, we don't. What
we have a state minimum.
We have a state minimum.
And you take that minimum very early.
Yeah, and you guys don't teach to the state minimum in college. You teach to a mid or high level
Expectation.
So that's not the same. You're not allowing the people that are in a poor school to have the same opportunity. It just don't make sense. So
it's not built for them to succeed
at all.
Yeah.
So I don't fuck with.
So when I showed up to Kent, it was like, damn, this shit is terribly boring. Read this book and tell me what it's about.
Yeah, that shit is insane.
It's obvious.
And we're not upgrading it. Just prices just keep going up for this dumb shit.
In high school, I tried to take the lowest English my senior year, like remedial English. Like they had 3 offerings. They had a normal one. They had the advanced
CP honors.
CP honors lit English, and then they had.
I didn't get any of that.
I asked them. I actually know. So you know how in high school they started letting you make your schedule to get you ready for college. So that's what I put on my schedule because I knew what it was. My counselor was like, "You're not allowed to take this. What you should be taking is Brit Lit. But if you refuse to take that, you can take the normal one. But you're not allowed to take." I had the highest final score in my grade the year that I moved up for English. And so I was like, but I don't like English. Which is crazy because I love to write. I just don't like, it's a lot of, hey,
you don't like the structure.
Read this book from 1879. Bitch, for what?
I know what this chapter was about. I read it.
Who cares? Exactly. Who cares at this point?
I don't want to have to, I don't know, it felt belittling. Hey, read this and let me make sure that you comprehend it. So,
I mean, I wish there was a lot more vocalization as opposed to writing. It's like it's a skill that people actually kind of lack.
That would be. I think that if they were going to teach, I don't know. I feel like high school should be a lot less focused on foundational application and more of practical. Like, hey, let's figure out how to write a novel or how to write something that's going to be useful in the real world and things that you might actually work on, or how to write a journal or how to like an article. Something like that if you want to be a journalist.
Man.
Yeah, I think we should appeal more to what kids actually really want to do.
It's wild
than
those
just
are all
having
things that I learned.
It was all a waste of time.
It was. Don't nobody in here, everybody in here be like, we don't have to sit down and have...
If I could do this all over, I would have been a flight attendant straight out of high school.
In high school. So yes, I took a lot of business classes. I learned accounting and things like that in high school because those are my electives. But what I'm saying is it should be standard that the English class that they make you take should be the class that's teaching you about the different types of business that involve the English language, like journalism. Give you a little sample of, hey, this is what journalism in your freshman year. And then allow you to pick, hey, all right, so your next English class could be journalism, it can be creative writing, it can be a plethora of things, but that they're going to more prepare you for future advancement than realistically say, hey, read this book and tell me if you comprehend it. Because that didn't prepare me for college.
I mean...
Do you feel like high school prepared you for college?
For my high school, yes. Because our English classes...
Yes.
Our English classes were more so focused to what... Because quintessentially, that's what English classes were. You basically...
They taught you how to write papers.
Yeah. They taught me how to write a bunch of papers. Look at a book, write a paper about it. Yeah.
Do you think high school prepared you for life?
I mean...
High school prepared you for another school system.
General... No, but I also
did.
I took a lot of weird extraneous classes. So that means my high school perception is warped. Yeah. Like I took journalism, I took photography,
I took outside of the electives that you chose to take. just what they were giving people, do you feel like that prepared you? Not what you decided to take on your own to pursue your own mind and expound that, but just the base things that they say, hey, these are what you have to take to get out of here.
Yeah, the required 50%, some yes, some no. I think the history classes were all kind of necessary because it teaches you. It gives you context about the world. Math, necessary.
I think that
I don't think so.
I think certain math to a certain point, 6th grade math is all you need.
Exactly. I think like once you get to like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I think after that you should be able to be like well, what's calling to you? Can we figure this out?
So
even at that particular point, you probably won't know.
Should be the last grade where you have purely just informational academic classes.
Yeah.
I think that by the time that you're in 8th grade,
that's really all you need to know.
Because they just give you information about history. They just shit in your face.
They're just giving you more broad information about it. But nothing has really changed from what you learned in the 1st grade to what you learned in the 8th grade.
Yeah, like in what the fuck is that movie called?
12 years of y'all reinforcing history. That's weird.
How many people use calculus?
Yeah, or in good
geometry. That's a part of
most people don't take calculus inside of undergrad. You start.
I can understand like
algebra for calc.
Algebra.
Yeah.
You use algebra.
Yeah.
Most people use algebra and geometry.
So the reason I use algebra in business is like
linear graphs, shit like that.
But even
then, a lot of people don't want to go into business. So
you're right. So
that's not nothing that's like you should be fucking learning X equals Y.
No lie.
But I
hate that shit.
How algebra was useful in my life, where I might need to know. All right, you guys are gonna work this fast and do this much productivity. I have this many hours and I need this much product out. How many shifts do I need to post?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's where I need to use algebra because I have a lot of different variables and I need to plug them in to figure out, all right, how do I get to this number that I'm looking for?
Like, do you guys need pre-calculus?
I can say I use that a lot in my last job, to be honest.
Right.
Algebra was like one of the main things. And so...
algebra and geometry, I would say, probably are the...
I can see
basic, like first year.
Like,
maybe depending on what you want to do, though.
Depending on what
it's necessary for your job.
Firefighter, but geometry and algebra is something that you use there because you need to know water pressure.
Okay.
How many feet that you have of hose, how much water pressure that's going to be to actually put out a fire where you're going to be spraying at, things like that. So I can see how they can be useful, but I also see that that's not something that I need 12 years of.
Exactly.
I mean, but you don't get 12 years of algebra. You take algebra
but it's still on the same trajectory of maths.
You wanted to teach me algebra.
Algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry. I would say it's pretty much those are the only 3 math classes you're required to take inside of high school.
But I guess for me.
But why is it necessary to the average person is the argument.
I would push those to college because they're more field-based. Mm-hmm. If you want to be a firefighter, if you want to be an engineer of any sort,
learn those things. And you probably like doing math.
I agree.
I don't think that you get electives in high school. I think that you should have the opportunity that if you enjoy math, to engage with it. But I also understand why it's a requirement because there's so many other countries that are so far ahead in those fields that we don't stack up in a way.
But that's the thing. A lot of people in high school don't know what they want to do.
They don't, but think about it. What if you wasn't stifled about what somebody else was telling you about what you had to do?
But if I don't know what I want to do,
you telling somebody else algebra, right? Like saying you got to take algebra for what, nigga? I don't like this shit.
I guess what I think is,
I know that much.
First 4 years of high school where it's free education, but you have to be there, and allow high school students to kind of engage with different materials in the way that they thought that they were interested in, that'd give them a realistic perspective of, hey, I actually don't like this. This isn't something that I want to do long term. Instead of going to college and then spending the first 2 years in a major where you spent the first year doing your general education, then the second year getting into the major, engaging with it, and then realizing, hey, I don't like this, and then having to reset and then go through another process of getting into another major, which is going to elongate your college path. That doesn't make sense. That's a money thing. That's how you get
I
more
mean,
money.
to a certain degree, I agree with you guys, but also to a certain degree, I kind of don't, because there's just so much ignorance that is so pervasive that leads to us not being able to have general conversations. Like, there are people who don't understand the biology of their own body.
But how, I guess, like, in terms of getting pregnant, what would the average person really need to know, like, that to the extent?
I'm not stopping, like, at getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so thinking about, like, in general. How does your body come together the work, and why are certain things bad? Like, what is cancer? Well, I don't need to really know what cancer is until you get cancer, and you're just kind of like, or you don't know. Like, oh, that's just a thing that's just been there.
But we already doing that already. Those things are really complex. And I would say, what was the world like before we started introducing ourselves to all this information that someone told us that we had to know?
High school didn't give me what cancer was.
It did, for me. Cancer is mutated cells.
Oh, I know what cancer is.
Yeah.
And cancer is an overgrowth of mutated cells. It's your cells producing a lot faster than you're supposed to, creating your growth that's slowly taking over your body. But I didn't learn that
I learned that in high school biology, which I didn't know wasn't mandatory throughout the entire state of Ohio.
So I took biology at Checker, actually.
Yeah, because it's required in 10th grade, and you left like right after 10th grade.
Yep, I took it in 10th grade, but we didn't really talk about. We did a lot more like animal biology.
We didn't do very much animal biology.
We did a lot of animal. We went to like nature parks, things like that. A lot of animal biology. So maybe they changed it when you went through the year after, but for us, we did a lot more like animal biology, and so it didn't really teach us. So now I can see how an anatomy class might be useful, but you could teach anatomy in 7th grade. I think that all the things that you would need to know from the 1st to the 8th grade, you could structure the educational system to teach them there, because once you're out of there, you're moving into the last 4 years before decisions that you make are counted. Let's call it that. So why would we not treat those last 4 years as a real preparatory instead of treating it as you're still a child and not really preparing you for as soon as you turn 18, all your decisions start counting. There's a score sheet, and these bitches are getting written down. And so,
I don't know. I'm looking at it from a very biased perspective, because my decisions didn't start counting when I was 18 necessarily. I had a blanket that I was allowed to have, and I wouldn't really say I didn't really start making decisions that like heavily impacted my life until after like 22. Yeah. Because up to that point, I went to Tri-C, which was relatively inexpensive.
But what I mean is, if you had decided to get a cell phone and sign a contract, that counts. There's no amount of taking that back that you can do.
But at that point, I understood what contracts and things of that nature were. So that means I wasn't going to enter into any.
But how did you get prepared for that? Was that in school? No, that was because of your family structure, right?
To a certain degree, family structure. I did take finance and stuff like that as well.
And even then, just nobody is accounting for real world experience.
That was an elective. So
but half of my schedule is electives, so Tony.
So what I'm saying is, don't count those. Count the things that they made you take.
But like 50%. But no,
but only
they made me take electives.
No. So let's not do that.
It's like half my schedule is literally electives.
You could have taken electives that would have been study halls. You could have taken an
elective. No, they would not actually let me take. They only let you take
an elective that would have been ballet. You could have taken a lot of different. You could have taken.
I could have done
improv.
I could have did theater. I could have did
a lot of things that wouldn't have prepared you for the real world. So let's not say that you didn't choose these things. So let's talk about what they actually gave you. They gave you government.
Yes.
They gave you 12th grade English, 12th grade math, which was probably in the way of
12th grade
calculus.
12th grade math is not mandatory. I took 12th grade math because I wanted to. I took fiction writing and creative writing in 12th grade instead of taking college writing, because it was a choice between college writing, creative writing, fiction writing. 11th grade was pretty much just Shakespearean shit. Because majority of my senior year, I didn't actually have classes. Like, I had a bunch of free periods.
Oh yeah, no, I know, because I would have, if I had stayed in Shaker, I'd have graduated early. But since I moved to
Brush.
they didn't do early graduation, so
You were just kind of that around.
Yeah, for a whole year, I was just around and literally didn't need any credits that I took. So they allowed me to take study halls because it was literally nothing. Anything that I did could only hurt me if I didn't do well with it at this point.
What else was I doing? I did graphic design. And I think that was really about it my senior year. Government and psychology.
And so
Psychology was unnecessary and superfluous. Government was necessary.
Were English and government.
Yes. And psych. Psych was the thing.
English, government, and psych. So do you really feel like those are the things that prepared you? Or was it the things that you decided that were interesting?
I mean, yeah, but they also gave me the option.
True, but what I'm saying is not all schools have that option. And so what we need to do is make that the standard.
But the thing about it is, well, see, that's the overall issue. Is part of the independence that we all fight for as individual states and so on and so forth, and we want these laws to be separate.
There's no...
Yes,
that's a lie.
No.
So let me explain why that's a lie. Because there's no individual state school system because you all are beholden to the federal government for federal money. And the reason that this is true and has been proven to be true is because you all acquiesced and started schools up when they told you to. You all moved to the beat of their drum because they said, hey, we're not going to give you federal funding if you don't acquiesce. So if, in fact, you want to pretend that you're individual, but you're really a collective that is on the string of the federal government, then the federal government needs to make the decision, hey, this should be the standard, and then all of them would have to do that because they would just pull funding and then they would just acquiesce.
Yes, they would acquiesce to those things. But as things are right now, each school system decides things that are mandatory, not mandatory, and so on and so forth.
No, the federal government does.
They say you have to take a certain amount of credits in a given subject.
The federal government created a state national test.
Yes, and you have to meet that criteria.
They allowed each state to create their own test, but they still said, hey, there's going to be a test. And there's a test.
So for Ohio, it's literally only writing, math. Those are the two that you were tested at. No science, none of that other stuff.
But what I'm saying is, if the federal government wanted to change it, they could. They're choosing not to.
Because people are naturally combative, and people like fighting against those, like just fighting against erroneous things. Because people people like fighting against erroneous things. Like if the state government, because we fought against the state testing standards as it is, and most teachers don't like state mandated testing because it says they curtail their...
I'm pretty sure teachers are even more behind changing the curriculum to be actually more towards teaching than more towards testing.
I mean, probably, but that would also kind of negate a good portion of the teachers that are... I don't know. I don't think it would negate them if they are...
Some
teachers, yes. Some teachers, no. Because if no one takes your class, then you don't have a class. Like, a lot of people aren't going to opt into taking pre-calc algebra for calculus. They're just not. So the class isn't going to be ran. Like, it's like there has to be some amount of culpability in that. If people don't want to take these things, they're not going to take them.
Well, then it's true.
There's some classes are going to fade out.
That's true.
And it's just like...
But I guess, is the job, or is the perspective of a teacher self-interest or the interest of actually teaching? So if it's actually teaching, then this might have to be a sacrifice. Well, I do get that most people are most people are just going to be self-interested. I don't know how we got to this. We started talking about the school system, and I was talking about people getting shot in the face.
We got out talking about kids and
I just wanted to see, and Ash was talking about shooting kids in the face. But
yep.
I have another question for y'all.
What?
How y'all feel about Bitcoin?
I don't care one way or another.
I'm waiting for it to go back down. It is dropping.
As soon as that dude said he lost $240 million worth, and since each coin is technically unique, that led to artificial scarcity to a certain degree, because now there is a amount of Bitcoin that exists that no one will ever have access to.
Yeah.
So that's basically like having, I don't know, 1 trillion tons of gold bullion out of a finite resource that's just sitting inside of a room that no one can get to.
Yeah.
Which is like...
I mean, it's not artificial scarcity.
Well, yes, it is artificial scarcity because someone could just drum up the blockchain code and create some more Bitcoin.
No, you can't.
I mean,
you can't make more Bitcoin.
If you really wanted to, you could.
You can't. So Bitcoin is an open source code, and it's been created to where there's only 222 million.
Yes.
22, something like that. Bitcoins, and there would never be more than that number of Bitcoins, and so you have to Bitcoin mine, and the Satoshi group is either a person or a collective of people that created it. But you can't make any more of it.
It depends upon the way the blockchain was coded. If you can get one side of the key, you can produce another side of the key to fit it. It's literally the main reason why it can't be produced is pretty much because that group said they're not going to produce it, and they don't want to produce it either way, and they set it up in a way to make sure that doesn't happen if I get it. But if someone were to get to the base code and get to the base encryptions, I'm pretty sure you could reproduce it, or at the very least you could mimic coins that already exist out in the world, because it's pretty much an RSA encryption algorithm with a public and private key. But I'm getting into a lot of technical minutia.
Yeah.
It's like you done stepped over into my actual
casting
field.
pearls to fucking swine. This is a great example.
I don't necessarily
Why
think
would
it's
you
casting portals.
We don't know what you're talking about. So
Like,
who
what
you
the fuck
talking
is he talking about?
It would be a lot more of an. I'm not saying
calling
it would
you
be,
guys swine, but you understand what I'm saying.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's anywhere near a simple process.
Okay, because all right, that's what I wanted you to say on the microphone.
It's like
the way that you made it sound out of your mouth was, you just snap.
Words sound great.
And so that's why I was like,
it was like snap, bang.
And what you're saying is a very.
But if I get
process.
if I get my hands on that private side of the key, which I know exists.
But that's the hardest part.
Yeah, because the private group actually owns this. It's like if the private group wanted to, they could go into that other side. But they also don't want to completely and totally. The more they explain about how Bitcoin functions and how they actually made the stuff, the more it not demystifies it, but the more the easier it becomes to replicate. I mean, there are other cryptocurrencies. Like Katrina knows more about the sheer amount of different crypto.
Ethereum, there's Litecoin. Those are probably two of the bigger names that you've heard.
I'm still learning, so.
But like in terms of the different types of things out there.
The concept of a cryptocurrency in a nutshell is, so you know how the government all last year just gave out free money?
Yes.
Where did that money come from?
The Bank of the Fed.
Where'd they get the money?
Off printing presses.
So that means they made it.
Yes.
So they created money that didn't exist before and just gave it to us.
Yes.
So that money actually has no value, which means that in order for it to have a value, it had to draw that value from all the money that already existed. So what that does is depreciate the value of all the money that's in existence.
Yes.
So buying Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency that you believe in is more of a philosophy that these are finite resources. They aren't going to make more like the federal banks just inject money depending on what's going on. So your $100, what it was worth now in 5 years, doesn't buy you the same. So having a saving account doesn't really make sense.
Just like if you were to have like really old money, so say you found like $100,000 in, I don't know, in 1950s cast, or I do believe if you like really old money, I do believe you can actually pro-valuate it because it's based on the amount of the money that it was then. But don't treat that as doctrine. I've only read that in stories. I'm not 100% sure if that's correct.
Yeah, so that might be true, but I know that if you put your money into cryptocurrency, even when cryptocurrency first started, it went up to, it started like $100, right? Maybe $10.
Yeah, they
then
had to set the price of something.
Then it went up to about 20,000, and then it dropped to about $5,000, and people were terrified. If you bought in at 100 and it went up to 20 but dropped to 5, you still made a 5,000 profit or 500 profit.
You know, people are terrified about the way things are.
But I guess the philosophy is that if you put your money into a cryptocurrency, regardless of how it fluctuates inside of the market, over time it's going to be worth more, while your cash over time would be worth less.
Mm-hmm.
So people are treating it like a savings account. So like Tesla has put a decent bit of their balance sheet, their cash holding balance sheet, into Bitcoin. There's another company called, I think it's Miracle or something like that. They just put like $1 billion into cryptocurrency. Well, Bitcoin specifically. And so there's Jack Dorsey just put money into Bitcoin. So there's been a lot of people that are moving away from just holding actual cash, and even companies. And companies are just putting part of their balance sheets, even if it's right now we're only seeing about 5% of their cash balance, but that's,
5% of our company is worth $100 billion. It's
still a lot of money, and yeah, so that's a. And even if that's them dipping their toe to see, hey, is this a viable option? That might be something that people should look at. So yeah, it's just, what do you guys think about cryptocurrency? Your opinions on it? How do you feel? What do you know?
I mean, it is only as trustworthy as those who create it. And the Bitcoin guys are pretty much vetted out to the point where it seems like if they were trying to rake in the money off of this, they could have been creating false coins or doing whatever the heck they wanted to by now.
Well, at this point, it's so open source that once you buy in, they can't change anything without complete consensus.
Open source doesn't mean that they need complete consensus.
No. The way that they wrote it, though. That's why I said to the point that they need complete consensus. So no, open source by itself does not mean that. The way that they created this does mean that.
Yeah, because they kind of... Like, I do believe with the way they currently have it written, they would need everything back. It's like you tore up a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And you gave out pieces of the paper to other people. You would need them to give all those sheets of paper back in order to get that to cleanly divide up.
Yeah.
So, quintessentially, like, with the other part of the process I was speaking about before, you can kind of make plagiaristic points of those other pieces of paper, but that's a decent amount of work. And it's not all... I mean, I guess it would be worth worth its weight, but the funny thing is, the minute you do that, you devalue the entire currency and everyone's bound. So,
yeah. Yeah, so you're not... Unless you
unless you want to be a real dick about it. Once you
destroy the faith in the currency, you aren't going to make any money.
Yeah.
Because this currency is built only on faith and the fact that it's a finite amount. And there's people that believe that it's going to go to $1 million, and so they're not going to sell no matter how low it goes or how high it goes right now.
Yeah. I mean, how high is it actually going to go? I mean, God only knows, but quintessential. I mean, but you could technically do this by buying any, like, limited commodity. You can do it by buying gold. You can do it by a billion other things because there's a limited amount of gold in the world. That's just the way it works.
True, but it's harder to buy gold right now.
Is it?
I mean, yeah. So the reason it's harder to buy gold right now is, I guess not harder, but it costs more. Because if you have a gold brick, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to sell me your gold brick for the exact amount of a gold brick. So I'm going to pay a premium on this gold brick. So I'm paying more than what the gold brick is worth. So now I'm buying the gold brick at a loss. So yes, while it's limited, you can never buy those at cost and then move up. Whereas cryptocurrency, its cost is its cost. You're not buying it at an inflated price or at a premium because somebody else has it and you don't.
Well, depending upon who you're, I think depending upon who you're dealing with, because the way these computer based and the way they have them set up work, I do believe there can be a transaction fee, depending upon who you're buying it from. Because,
depending on which service you use and things like that, but there's a lot of services that are provided for free.
But, there can be a surcharge to buying these things. So but am I against cryptocurrency as long as it remains in faith and everyone does things in good faith? Yeah, everything's fine.
How do you feel about investing in cryptocurrency?
It's no different than I would inside of silver and gold. It's quintessentially the same thing as of right now.
What about you, Ash? How do you feel about it?
I had a chance to invest in it when it first came out. I watched like a documentary on it, and somebody that y'all both know and their lovely partner was like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, no, I'm totally with this. I'm totally gonna invest $10. What was I doing, like every 2 weeks? I'm just gonna do this. And then I was like, no, maybe I'm wrong.
Don't listen.
I was not wrong. No, it wasn't him. It was somebody else. But
what other person do we both know that?
I'll tell you when we stop filming. But I'll just know that. No, I ain't mad at him. Because at the end of the day, it was my decision. At the end of the day, I didn't really have the discipline to be like, let me take my savings and just put it into this. But I had a hunch about it. Like, yo, this shit was rocking. I watched a whole documentary about how they was mining. Like, these niggas invested. Like, they was for like the computers and shit. They had to invest like $1,000 in the computers.
Like, the mining of the coins
is helly expensive.
Because right now they don't have all the coins. All the coins don't exist right now.
Yeah.
So you have to mine for all the coins, and so even that is a process.
Yeah.
A very expensive process back in 2016. I don't know how much it is now.
Still expensive.
But no, them niggas, they gave up at the end of the documentary, and I'm like, I'm not giving up.
I don't know what the mining process is like, but I know that you can buy like parts of computer bays and stuff like that. Like, I could probably create a cryptocurrency mine myself. That is something I can probably do with my networking expertise. Tony is looking at me like, ooh, can you?
Like, I mean, if you can, go for the bag.
But the biggest thing is just like, the funny thing about it is, what the most costly thing is, the thing that people don't anticipate, is fucking power.
Yeah, no, it's just an expensive process from what they was doing, and I had a chance to and I didn't, but I'm not like, I definitely look back at it like, okay, I was a learning.
Power drill that's like $1,000, you'd be like, what the fuck?
And when it's time for me to invest in it, if you know,
I got one Bitcoin and $1,000.
Life says go ahead and invest in it, I'll do it. But
you still had to actually get the Bitcoin itself.
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't understand. The only thing I really don't understand is where they're it's like, all right, all the Bitcoins don't exist. So where do I get these damn things from? If they don't already exist, well, you have to basically ping this thing and do this thing and do some stuff. And it's fairly procedural from what I understand. So
yeah,
if it's procedural, it can be programmed, and if it can be programmed, then I can figure out a way to. You could come up with an efficient algorithm for doing it.
So so what I understand is y'all are for Bitcoin.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't see a reason why I would be against it.
So when we start making money or getting deals, how do y'all feel about me accepting all or portions of the payment?
This is completely and totally fine.
All right, bet.
Wait a minute, excuse me? Repeat that?
When we start doing business deals,
if you start getting profit, you don't want to pay us in Bitcoin?
No, I'm not going to pay y'all. I'm going to accept deals in cryptocurrency.
That's it? Not half and half? Just...
No, 100% cash.
The smartest thing 50 Cent ever did was to actually accept Bitcoin for CD sales randomly. It was hilarious. It was just like, well, I took Bitcoin for this one CD release. I got 15 of them, and guess what? What? It was worth like $500,000 or something.
I can't
surprise.
Yeah, like when
fucking forgot about it.
When we was having this is a whole good thing about intuition. When somebody was asking me about should I buy into Alibaba, I'm like, yeah, why not? I think it was like the beginning of the pandemic. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're going through now. Right now it's at a dip, but now like I follow this investor that was saying like they're at a dip right now, but these niggas is gonna skyrocket soon, bet. And I was like, yeah, I was saying that before. I be knowing without knowing. I'm like, nah, do this one right here. It's not complete. I'm not a businesswoman by any means. Like, there's no like.
You are. You run a business.
But I don't feel like y'all be like the fucking like he knows the algebra productivity and you know your shit.
You know algebra productivity. You
no, the fuck I don't, and I don't care about knowing that. That's a job for him to know, and he likes knowing that shit.
No, I didn't like no. I just had to.
But y'all get what I'm saying? Where I'm saying like I fully acknowledge like I do what I do so I can have freedom in other areas. I'm not doing this because there's some intrinsic form in me that needs to fucking deal with numbers and crunch them all day. Like, I like the camaraderie of it. I like seeing what the fuck could happen. It's more about the process for me. The business part of it with the numbers and shit like that, that's something I can handle on my own because I'm not retarded. So, but I don't consider myself a businesswoman. I wouldn't like, if I could go make a deal with somebody that have a level of know-how, sure. But everything that I do is so I can be lazy later on. My life is built upon working less. I'll put in the work now so later I can work less. But as far as like keep adding on and trying to build all this other shit, like, nah, that's not really my interest. Like, I'll get into stocks because I have a goal to give my daughter something in about 10 years. That's pretty much it. Like, I'm not going to be watching it every day. There's nothing that sounds intriguing to see like the ups and downs of it. But at the end of the day, I don't consider myself a businesswoman. Like, owning real estate, like, just like a few months ago, sounds so stupid to me now. Like, oh God, what? Like, or a laundromat was like a big deal of ours. I'm like, I ain't doing none of that shit. I don't want none of those things. And that's when I knew like my vocation, what I'm being called to do, ain't really business. It's just these things are supporting so I can do other shit.
I entered into something that was going to give me self-satisfaction. I would never pick something I'm going to do for 40 hours a week or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That's not going to give me some amount of satisfaction. And I guess that's the inverse of you because you have no satisfaction from what you were doing, so thus you are not going to seek to do it more than you have to.
What?
I said you don't really.
No, speak to me like I'm dumb. I don't know what you just said, and you said
you
inversion.
don't get satisfaction from your day-to-day job, so that means you're not going to seek to do it any more than you have to.
Oh,
you get
okay.
satisfaction from other facets of your life.
Yeah. I guess I get some satisfaction. Like the part of business that says I don't know, like taking the risk is very exciting to me, but that's also because I like writing. I'm like, damn, if I wrote a book and put it out, what would happen? That excites me. You know?
Like, I say here right now, like I haven't got my first deal or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I say right now, like, I'm going to get to a certain point where I'm just going to, lay low and blah, blah. But I know me, I'm like, nope.
I feel even like just dealing, my fucking motivations have changed. Mm-hmm. Like,
well, you have a child, so
it's not even about I guess so. I guess that's part of it, but I put myself first over my child in regards to how I move, I guess. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I'm like neglecting my kid or anything like that.
That's what it sounded like.
No, I get what she's saying. Like,
no, I had to learn I had to learn this from men. They usually generally put their agendas first before everything else. Yep. So that's what I started doing, and things started happening for me pretty quickly. Life started changing pretty in my direction, and it gave me satisfaction. I'm not saying that y'all are selfish or self-centered. Well, none of that. No negative point.
I'm not really taking anything negative. I would just say in perspective, I don't take my own motivations. Like if I were to be married, it's just like, all right, my objectives and my wife's objectives, I do believe, are kind of one and the same.
But see, women don't put they shit together like that. Like if you told me, like if I told you you ain't going to fucking self-engineering, you look at me like I was stupid. But a woman might do that because she loves her man.
What?
What's the last thing that your dad wanted or
My dad doesn't want stuff too often.
Because he doesn't get it?
I mean, he just doesn't want stuff too often.
No, like business-wise. Like, what is something that he's needed to do or get something? How long has it taken to make that decision?
I mean, right now we're talking about getting him a new laptop or something like that. Like, my father is very much a measure 3 times cut once type of dude.
How long have you been talking about that?
Huh?
How long have you been talking about that?
This will be the 3rd time in about, I want to say a month or 2 that we had this conversation.
And when do you think he's going to get it?
Whenever I kind of write off on a given thing, I'm the technology guy, so everyone waits for me.
You just haven't agreed with it.
No, we haven't really taken an agreement. Like, in terms of my father buying stuff for his business, my mother just, for the most part, stays out of it because he makes...
That's not what I'm asking.
I don't really...
That's a very simple question. How does it take your dad a long time to make decisions for his business?
In the micro, no. In the macro, yes.
Okay. So, in the micro, no. It's taking your mother almost half a year to decide on the camera.
Oh, no. She's already decided on the camber, but she is just...
No, to execute. So.
Oh, I mean.
From.
I mean, that is already frustrating the piss out of me.
But that's what I'm saying.
To the point where it's
that's
like.
That's the difference between men and women.
I'm ready to just go buy our own camera.
The way that she feels about it.
Is what's driving her.
Is what's driving her. And once she's completely comfortable in feeling, execution will happen. For men, our comfortability comes in, we've decided this. And I decided this, so I'm comfortable. And so that's what Ashley's saying.
Well, I guess it's what prompts the decision necessarily. Because this entire decision just prompted out of need.
Would you let a woman, a relationship stop you from going to college?
Which was what I was trying to ask you before. No, absolutely not. But I would.
I mean, why? Well, first things first.
You don't understand how that feels.
If you weren't okay with it to begin with.
But women would.
Yeah, we would choose something just completely based on how somebody made me feel. You see how you don't understand that? I operated on that mode for a very long time until I saw.
Women tell me that they would drop everything they wanted to do and move with me when I was leaving the state.
What?
But that's the thing. I wouldn't want that. I need someone with actual ambitions.
Charles.
That's boring.
Charles, what you're doing is thinking about it from a male perspective. But why would I drop what I'm doing to go follow behind somebody else? You got to take yourself out of it and look at it from a woman's perspective. They're not.
We feel good about you.
Yeah, I enjoy how I feel.
And that's what a woman is loyal to first, before anything else, before her kid. How they fucking feel. I had to put that secondly. All right, I feel a way.
I think that's the biggest difference that you don't understand about women, Charles. It's how they feel. What they feel
is most important.
Over
everything.
Yeah.
I feel good.
You make me feel good, so I'm going to follow this feeling because this is what feels nice. You see how you don't understand that?
But that can literally lead you as just like, man,
that's what I had to learn.
Laying on this train track feels
that's a learning experience.
So you see how you keep trying to logic it out?
There's no logic here.
Logical.
No, it's not. But that's where they. But that's
where we operate from.
They operate in that spectrum, not from logic how we do, where we look at a situation and engage it with, all right, what are the pros and cons? They operate with, how does this situation make me feel? Does it make me feel good? So regardless of the negatives of the situation, I feel good inside of it, so I'm going to do it. I feel bad inside of it, so I'm not going to do it, regardless of the benefits. I don't like it. I don't like the way he talked to me. You can be the most kind person and trying to help them advance, but if you don't make them feel a way, they're not going to want to be there.
That explains a lot.
Yes.
I am not the nicest. I do not word things particularly nicely.
It's all about how they feel. It's not about the positivity or the negativity. It's about how I feel about this.
And you see, calling something dumb is not the way of getting to this. It's just like,
you see how I was telling you earlier? Like, I like when you call me out. A lot of some people in general, if a nigga ain't really got his emotional shit in order and he just flipping out everything, if a bitch really just was like, what do you mean by that, Charles? Like, I could have looked at you and been like, oh, but I had to teach myself to learn. When is somebody trying to show you something that you can work on within yourself? And why would you flip out over that? Like, I spent many years harboring so much anger and resentment for people because they didn't make me feel good.
Women on the spectrum operate.
Yeah, that's not normal.
How do you make me feel? And then once you make me feel good, then these are the ways that I operate, and this is the parameters that I'm willing to operate in. But once I don't feel good anymore, these are the new parameters that I'm operating in.
Well, smoke up people's asses. I mean, but as of this point, I'm internalizing things.
But I guess for me, it's not blowing smoke up. You have to.
I would say, like, this is the difference between men and women. Men need to be admired. You need to tell them, I love when you do this because it made me feel this. Yeah. You have to honor their actions. With women, you got to talk to them like they poems. girl, you look so good in them fucking leggings. I eat you up right now.
Because he's combative. Women are like kids.
Yeah, like, oh my God, you make, girl,
Because
what?
like, so think about it like that, Charles, because I think that'll help you in a male perspective.
But I hate
But
talking
it doesn't matter.
to
It doesn't matter.
kids.
It doesn't matter.
And that is my number one turnoff. Is just like, I gotta treat you like you're a toddler. This is
But
not a
all of
relationship
us-
if I'm treating like.
but-
if I'm
But you
treating
gotta
like a
treat some
toddler.
niggas like that too, because some men operate
I
on a
don't hang
very
around dudes
feminine
who-
basis.
I don't hang around dudes who just, I have to treat like toddlers.
But I guess my thing is, realistically, the way you have to treat them like a toddler is, for a toddler, you have to monitor the way that you say something to them because they might take it the wrong way, and you could inadvertently hurt a child's feelings. Why would you do that?
Right.
That's not your intent. So you're just a little more careful. That's the same carefulness that a woman needs. Childlike.
I don't want to have to baby y'all and tell y'all, oh my God, this. I don't want to do that, but I know what it brings out of y'all because it brings out something positive.
Don't baby me. Just tell me what it is.
I'm not babying you, but
No,
that's how
she
your
doesn't want
operation.
to.
I can
She might
feel
not
your
wanna be like,
frustration.
if you do something good,
Or I
she
might
not wanna
forget.
say-
I love telling a man like, damn, you did this. That's so fucking amazing. You saw this, you saw this, you saw this. I really do love doing that. But there's some things I might fall off and be like, damn, I missed this space. I missed this space. You got to constantly kind
I'm
of.
also a weirdo. I don't do away with.
But
it's
then
like,
how
if
are you
gonna
going to
give
thrive
me-
in a relationship if you don't want to do basic
Well,
maintenance?
no, it's
Yeah.
not even that. It's I don't deal well with praise. I never have.
Well, not praise. So don't look at it as praise. You want to be acknowledged for your effort, though.
I mean,
If you went out of your way to make your wife's life easier or your girlfriend's life easier, and she treated it as if it was
Just
nothing,
blase. You just going to lose
Like,
it?
oh, whatever.
I'm just gonna stop doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you stop doing it, it's because now you feel a way about it. It's not because
It's
you're
like
just
if this isn't actually making your life any easier.
No, you would see that it make your life easier. It wouldn't be about that. It's because she isn't acknowledging it. You want to spin it where, oh, it's not making your life. No. What she didn't do is acknowledge
Why?
that you made her life easier.
Oh.
And so now you don't want to do it. But that's because you feel away. But that's how men are. Men need to be appreciated because, well, why am I doing this if there's no, like, acknowledgement? I could go do something completely different with my time and not be doing this. And that's how we look at it because men are very cost-benefit analysis. That's why because you prioritize your career and what you want to do for a majority of your life right now.
Yeah.
And for a woman, it's not the same. But for a man, once we start to prioritize a woman, it's like, well, I would like to be appreciated for this because I'm choosing you over all the things that I've been choosing over everybody else.
I basically am trying to choose a woman based on the fact that it's just like we all need to be moving inside of that direction.
True, but what I'm saying is,
And
even if you
being my
didn't,
hand going this, we're going in the same direction like this.
Yeah, no,
I can't you have being dead weight.
she could be going in that direction. But what I'm saying is, you need her to acknowledge that you sacrifice some time of what you're focused on, or the things that you might particularly want to do, to focus on her needs, her priorities, things that are important to her. And you would like to be acknowledged for that. And if you aren't acknowledged for that, you're going to stop doing those. But it's not because it doesn't make her life better. It's because you weren't acknowledged for that.
exactly.
I mean,
You need it. I mean, it's nothing that you. It's intrinsically to your nature.
I mean, due to the fact that it's intrinsic, maybe it's something I haven't completely or totally reflected upon because it's intrinsic to my nature.
Because you do it so automatically, you don't know.
Yeah. So
I'm super reflective on, like,
I'm generally reflective of my personality, but
as an Aries, I think that most people misconstrue the reason that we're so hostile and we get angry so quickly is because we're extremely sensitive. Very, very sensitive people, which is wild. It doesn't come off as us being sensitive because we don't act like cancers. But things hurt our feelings extremely quickly, but once our feelings are hurt, now we're mad. Because we don't go through the, oh, you hurt our feelings, and now we're sad and we don't understand why.
Yeah,
Oh,
people don't realize anger is a secondary emotion.
Yeah, we're mad.
Protecting anger is protecting something.
I don't know.
That this something so sensitive and precious to me. Now I'm threatened.
So, but for me, the reason that I had to understand that is because I was like, all right, well, why am I so upset with them? But that would, all right, so I need you to value the things that I'm doing because realistically, I could go back to it being fuck you. I left multiple women told all of them, no, I don't want to date you. I'm about to move to Seattle. And was dead ass. And for a year, engaged, had great times, and refused to move forward. So if I'm willing to move forward for you and partition my time, I'd like to be appreciated. But if it can't be appreciated, then my feelings are hurt, but I'm mad. And that's how I articulate my feelings being hurt. It's usually articulated in anger for Aries. And so, but for me, I had to understand, all right, so why am I upset with them? Oh, it's because you're doing all this and they don't show value in the sacrifice that you're making here. When you could be going to do the other shit that you want to do, bet. I'm going to go do the other shit that I want to do, but I had to understand that. But I would say that's probably because I've engaged with...
There's no anger inside of my cycle in that. It is literally just... I'm very cut and dry when it comes to stuff. I guess that's technically a Virgo thing, where it's just
just a masculine thing. I don't think that has nothing to do with
I don't get angry. All right, you don't... All right, you're... Like,
I would say that's a very Virgo logical... The way that you guys handle it is, all right, I'm going to logically identify this and then cut you out. But that, I think, has its own issues because you guys can be perceived as cold, where you're like, oh, well, maybe that's why some of the women have issues. Yeah, because you need to show a level of care beyond logic.
It's just like, why'd you just stop doing it?
Yeah.
You didn't
so for
really
you guys,
care about it,
so care. For us, it's
why
like,
would I keep doing it?
You hurt my feelings and now I'm angry. So let me show you what happens when I'm upset, because I don't understand why you would do that, but I'm about to flip the
I guess there's a certain... With that, I guess at some point, at least there's a warning. Is like, with me, it's just like, why'd you stop making coffee in the morning? I didn't think it mattered.
Oh, no. There's no warning. You just do the thing to hurt my feelings, and then now I'm flipping the fuck out.
Yes, but there's a flipping the fuck out.
But they don't know. But my flipping the fuck out is never articulated in, oh, you hurt my feelings because of this. I'm just mad at you. Why the fuck are you doing that? Not that my feelings are hurt, not that I feel away. I'm just, what the fuck is wrong with you? Now is all you have. I have lots of issues with you. What are you doing?
Not really. My issues don't typically balloon over.
I never once get back to articulating, oh, this hurt my feelings. We don't get to that because now I don't understand why you're making these actions, and now you're on the defensive because I have lots of questions and I need to understand why you're making these decisions.
Exactly. I've learned that just by being around him. Like, he gonna be upset for a solid 10-15 minutes, maybe if that, because he get over his issues just as fast as it happened. I know that I'm like, I might step something. There's time for me, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, but you upset about something, and I putting up my hands with this one, so unless he can come and tell me, like, this is exactly what happened. But me fighting with him is not gonna do anything because he ready for the fight. So I'm like,
I'm full, and
gotta go.
That's how women engage me. As soon as I'm ready for the fight, they want to go on the defensive, and as soon as you put up that wall to try to defend yourself, I lower my head and I fucking destroy every wall that you put up. Because bet you want to fight?
Yeah, right, no, I'm not playing that game with this nigga. Because now he just relentless. I'm like,
now I'm about to do that.
I'm like, no, I quit.
I'll walk away and be passive aggressive. Be like,
okay. Oh no, you can be passive aggressive.
I'm
very
passive aggressive.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm like, I've dealt with his type of anger, not only within other people but within myself. I know that anger. I know it is. You hurt by something, but it instantly turned into anger. I know that anger very fucking well. I am stepping back. See? He wants to hurt you just as bad as you hurt him.
Leave me alone. And what I'm good at now is because I recognize that if you engage with me, I'm going to be mean to you. So leave me alone. And I give people that fair warning. Leave me alone. Now, most people don't take that because they want to have the conversation. Bet.
Exactly.
Now I'm about to go crazy on you, and you're not going to know how to get it.
I know that anger very well.
Now you've already it's like a cup that's turned upside down. There's no half pouring it out slowly. It's either you leave it in the cup and leave me alone, or I'm dumping this bitch out. So you can choose, but I would suggest you leave me alone.
Yeah, if I gotta give you that warning to leave me alone, I am in that weird black void space where I can be pulled either direction depending on.
Like, you can leave me alone.
Yeah, like now you've crossed the boundary, and I know myself.
I just remove myself from the given situation.
Sometimes it just be like.
Me telling you to leave me alone is me trying to remove myself. But I know that even if you, You leaving me alone means don't send me one more fucking text. Don't call my phone.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
I'm about
send
to.
me
Oh my God! If I give you the
any form of
warning,
communication after I said leave me alone. Now, if you say one other thing, I'm going to latch onto that and become extremely hostile and blow up because I said leave me alone. And what you didn't do
is listen.
And so now I'm going to show you why you should have listened.
Oh, I'll just turn my phone off. I'm not that attached to that.
No, I know
I'm
that
not
shit
turning my phone off.
so
What?
fucking well.
I
Don't
had
say
shit
not
going
another
on.
fucking word to
I
me.
might want to use my phone. Why are you still messaging me? Oh, you want a message? Bet. I'm about to call you.
There's nothing that I want to do on my phone for
Here.
anything.
Oh, you're not going to answer the phone?
Yo, if I give you that warning, oh my God, I'm telling you, for me, that's what it feel like for me. It's like this weird blank black space. Now, the way you pulling these strings depends on entirely how you want this to go.
So-
Because I've told you, I am not feeling good right
I
now.
recognize in myself that I can be very mean and very spiteful. And I recognize in myself that I enjoy those two feelings. So I recognize once I get angry that I'm going right there and I know that, I'm about to enjoy this. So
We about to have fun.
You should leave me alone because I know that once I go down this path, I'm going to start having a lot of fun, but being really disrespectful and really mean. So I suggest, leave me alone. But if you can't leave me alone,
Oh.
you can get this conversation.
Oh, so you disrespectful.
And I'm going to be disrespectful in the most respectful way. Like, I'm just going to tell you about yourself. Like, I'm going to just say anything
nah.
where we was just like, I would have let that go. No, now I have questions. And so I'm going to just question you on shit that you do, on your behavior, on the way that you think, on the way that you operate. And why do you believe that's acceptable in these situations? I'm going to just continue to articulate it in a way that makes you feel...
I am a Cancer. I'm emotional. Like, you do that shit to me, no. Oop. Yep. Nope.
No, I've fought with anger and rage too fucking much.
Crazy. I normally get along with Cancers. Cancers are very sensitive.
We are.
Which
And
works
manipulative
Well,
sometimes.
see, Cancers work for me because since they're so emotional, they usually are very cautious of other people's emotions.
Yeah.
And so since you're cautious of my emotions as an Aries, we usually don't get into any issues because you're always trying to figure out how I feel and what's going on. So since you're always worried about my feelings, I don't have a chance to just snap into rage. Where, let's say, Gemini might not necessarily be interested in that. Or Taurus is more stubborn and into their own way. And so they might be focused on how they feel and what they're doing and how the things I'm doing didn't or wasn't what they needed, and that's why we're in this space. But that's not gonna. I'm not gonna care about that because now I feel a way about what you're doing. So now I'm angry and being hostile. So I can definitely recognize that. No, I've had great situations with Cancers, but it's because they are so emotional that they're just worried about everybody's feelings. Well, how do you feel? And so since you're always
That rarely enters into my actual.
The
feeling.
bad side is that we are very passive aggressive. Like, we could say something, be like,
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
What's
oh,
wrong?
yeah, okay.
Nothing.
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
I'm walking the
Like,
fuck
no,
away.
What the fuck did you
I'm
just
fucking
say?
leaving. Like, all right.
I feel like male Cancers are worse than female Cancers.
Yeah, they are. They are if they do.
You know what's crazy? I feel like certain signs are better, male or female. I think a Virgo male is better than a Virgo female.
Oh, I know one Virgo female. Apparently, we don't get along on that
The
level.
reason I don't like Virgo females is because they're very logical and analytical, but as soon as you hurt their feelings, that shit go out the window. And then they operate on their emotions. Like, and it's like, I don't understand how you have both of these things going on, where you want to be logical, but also upset and have no logic in the things that you're upset about.
Just
I don't
described
understand.
my boyfriend to a T. I'm like, which one is it? Are you upset at me or are you just, what? Which one is it?
I'm telling you now, female Virgos, crazy.
Like when someone randomly lashes out at me, I'm like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make
A
any
female-
sense.
Try to tell
Female
you how
Leos kinda
I
make
feel.
sense
You
to
fucking
me.
laugh.
He said, kinda.
Well, I guess female Leos make
Y'all
sense.
okay.
Because they're kind of defined of where they want to be, and
Oh
their
my fucking
arrogance
God.
is more self-contained, whereas a Leo male is just like irritating to me. It's just like
My sister don't feel like she can fail.
yeah, but,
That's why
That's great.
Fail, but she don't
Yeah,
pursue
but there's
it.
an awful lot of failure. It's just like,
Hey, but does she confident?
she gonna take all the
confident in that
shots.
shit.
See, take all the L's. So what? I take all the L's. I still didn't fail.
Yeah,
But,
in her own way, yes.
but what I mean, like, is she cocky like a man would be cocky?
No, 'cause
Exactly. So that's what I mean. So that's why I like Leo females, because they still have that like that bravado in them, but it's like in a way that's not
It's
so
tempered.
like it's tempered. It's not so like abrasive to you. So I think that a Leo woman is good. I like Cancer women because Cancer men, they be in their feelings but then don't want to talk about it. Like my cousin be upset but then don't want to acknowledge that he upset. My nigga, you in your feelings right now. And you should acknowledge that you feel away
Be careful.
so we can move past it.
Cancer people are on top of arrested and crimes of passion and shit. Just like, yeah.
I mean, for real, the first thing that controlling your emotions is understanding why you have them and what's going on in there. Like, I typically understand why I have any emotional reaction because it's just like, because one, I don't get them very often, so it's just like, what the hell is going on? Why am I all emotional?
Now see, for me, I know why my so I have emotional reactions, but I don't operate out of emotions. I don't make very many or if any decisions. Like Ash said, you'll catch me and my temper will go from 0 to like 1 million for about 15 minutes.
And then you forget about it.
Yeah, but I haven't made any decisions. I've just acknowledged how I felt and vocalized that to you and like expelled that from me. But I'm not about to make any decisions based off of this. That would be crazy. That don't make no sense. I just need to feel how I feel right now. But there do be people that be like, oh, I feel this way, and let me make all these decisions. I'd be like,
Oh,
well, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't really have anything else. We just moved into like random conversation. If Ash wants to add in her conversations about
I was hoping it was gonna go 2 hours. I'd be like, yeah.
what's up with
I have
Batman?
nothing to talk about. I was hoping. I'm
Why
like,
you
oh,
always trying to like?
going. I'm admitting y'all very, I'm not like Charles. I'm like, oh God, what? And I'm like, I'm very upfront with what I'm doing here.
Oh, I did have to say, you asked about Ethereum. What were you asking about? What's the difference?
Oh, yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, I know there's different coins. Okay, the developers.
Yeah, and then your belief in them. So the reason that Bitcoin is so high is because everybody talks about it.
Right.
And everybody knows it.
I thought about just putting my money into Ethereum. I know I have to get a wallet, so for that, you can't use
you can
cash.
like Coinbase in the wallet.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pick a cryptocurrency, that's fine. I would say, so like I said, the difference is all of us know about Bitcoin. And
Right.
it is like the brand name for cryptocurrency right now.
Right.
And so at this point,
You're waiting for the next boom, basically.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next
not
one.
even the next boom. I'm trying to decide what I can describe it as. Because
I mean, if
All right,
Bitcoin is like Coke, I guess Ethereum is like RC Cola. Technically main brand, but
kind of like that, but even to a worse degree where Bitcoin is like gold
okay.
and everything else right now is like copper
For now.
for now. But Bitcoin probably won't stop being gold. It'll only become like platinum or something that's even rarer.
Like,
And the reason that is because since it's so finite and all of us know about it and all of us believe in it,
Yeah.
that's where all the money's going to go. So there's not going to be people that have large amounts of money that go to Ethereum and things like that in the short term. So it's not going to become a standard. And so without it becoming a standard, unlike Coke where, yeah, some people don't like the taste of Coke, so they're going to go to RC Cola. This is more like a savings account where
The
if
flavor don't
everybody,
matter.
yeah, the flavor don't matter because if everybody's here, that means that this savings account is going to continue to go up. So why would I go to another savings account that's going to go up slower than this one? So that's the issue with it right now. So not saying that it can't become, but that's kind of how you have to look at it, where it's not necessarily a dictation of taste or a preference, but more so like practicality.
Do we know how much? Do we know how much of the Bitcoin has actually been mined? Because pretty much the overall breaking point is going to be, when can't people really mine Bitcoin? And that is a major breaking point people need to understand, because that at that point people are going to look for another currency.
Yeah. That's what I said. Ethereum is way less than Bitcoin right now, but people are still looking at Ethereum. Like it's not talked about.
18.5.
So it means we're approaching the number of where it's not going to be capable of
That's
being mined.
why people are getting in right now.
Yeah, but the more people get it, but there is going to be a point where there's no more to be sold. Bitcoin is actually going to probably have a more stable value.
But that's not true necessarily.
I mean,
Bitcoin's going to reach a point where no more new people can invest without somebody that's already invested selling. And so that's what you're going to have. You're going to have people selling.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have older people that are into it, that want the cash and want the liquidity now because it's worth more than what they put in. So they're going to cash out. But then you're also going to get the people that are holders that are going to hold out because they believe it's going to reach $1 million. So then you have this market of exchange of Bitcoin, which could potentially lead to another cryptocurrency reaching a sizable amount. But you have to wait for that to happen. Really.
I mean, yeah, but we're at 18 billion coins. So it means, honestly, whatever the second most popular currency is,
it's Ethereum.
So I would probably, whatever that's worth, I would probably more so buy into that unless people want to pay us in Bitcoin, and I'm also fine with that because that's pretty much, that's only going to pro value at some point.
Or Satoshis. We'll take some Satoshis.
What's Satoshis? Just
Bitcoin is a synonym name. Satoshi Group is the group that created Bitcoin.
Oh.
So it's the cheapest denomination of Bitcoin. So yeah. Satoshis. Or the Bitcoin. Yeah, I just wanted to see what y'all's opinion on that was.
It's my turn.
Yeah, let's be talking about pardons from Trump and Biden.
Go ahead.
Nah, it's Batman time.
No, it's what?
I want to know about Batman.
You want to know about Trump? Why is everybody siding with Tony? You know what? I fucking quit.
No, you said Batman. What's up with Batman?
I fucking quit. Nah.
What's going on with Luke?
There's nothing going on. I watched all of them while I was on sabbatical from the podcast.
You watched Batman Forever?
No, not all of them. The trilogy that Christopher Nolan did. Let's put that out there.
Okay, which one? We got a couple.
Not all of them. I'm not into the ones made before. For real, George Clooney, the one like that's like a childhood gem to me. Like I'll watch that shit and go, yeah.
Man, that was
that nipples, yo. That
animated series.
I wanted to be Poison Ivy so fucking bad as a 6-year-old. I wanted to be witch niggas with my powdery dust from my hands so fucking bad.
I like the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Yeah, I don't like those. I like Catwoman, but I don't really like those movies.
That was my first Batman, the Jack Nicholson being a fucking crazy.
Mine was Val Kilmer, yo. I was so fucking in love with Val Kilmer as a 5-year-old. Yo, I was a horny kid. I don't know. I was really in love with all these dudes. Like Jim Carrey is like my first love. Val Kilmer, like those these white guys. I know, right?
Val Kilmer.
She's like Jim Carrey. Alrighty then.
I'm telling you, I think that shit was weird. Niggas that make me laugh will always, some weird way, make me fucking just swoon. Like, oh my God, you're just such a fucking hoot. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. That's why Deontay was so pivotal. That nigga could make me laugh so fucking hard. But anyway.
I mean, well, yeah, fucking comedian.
Yo, that's when I realized I really have a fucking kryptonite. And I can't pay attention to every nigga that make me laugh.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like, oh, we need to leave you somewhere else. But anyway. Let's see. What's his name on YouTube? Captain Sinbad. If y'all want to look him up, pretty cool. Self-improvement, blah, blah, blah. He was talking about the 3 movies, and it's not really like an unknown thing, but how each of those movies do deal with something. 3 pivotal, not emotions, but I guess happenings in your life. So the first one, Batman Begins, would deal with fear. The second one is dealing with chaos. And the third one is dealing with pain. and how that whole trilogy obviously was him going on a hero's journey. I don't know if I can get into specifics on what the hero's journey is, but if y'all want some more information, Joseph Campbell, that's that nigga shit, is the hero's fucking journey. But I thought I'd ask the question about not so much of what you're afraid of, but how did y'all deal with fear in general? And in, like, even today's world, like with COVID, how did y'all get over these fears, or just tackling y'all dreams and everything like that? Like, is there a set way that you get over it? How do you know, like, oh, I'm scared of doing something. How do I move forward through it? Watch, I was about to have a definitive answer.
What? A definitive answer for, like, getting over your fears? Master them.
I'm still getting over mine.
What are some of yours, or like something that you dealt with recently? Like, I was afraid to do this, and
like, you all know I lost my job, and then after I lost my job, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And I found something, but then my mother had to get surgery, had to have extensive surgery. Then my aunt lost her eyesight. Then I had to move with my aunt, and it was a bunch of shit in life where you just, like Charles said, you have to master it. And you have to go with the flow. And, you know, you can sit down and be sad about it and say, oh, poor me and all this shit, but nothing's going to get done by doing that shit. You just got to realize that. And I'm still learning. I'm still scared as hell. And this COVID shit really, man, it really changes the way that you think. It really changed the way that I think. You know,
like how, like, do you notice like clear before and after?
Before and after?
Yeah, like before COVID happened, I was this. Now
like,
it's like
I became more appreciative of things, basic shit. You know, just people are losing their minds and not being able to go to the fucking clubs and go to the bar. I'm like, that shit is so irrelevant because you guys still have your family. You know, how many people woke up without their fucking family members? You know, always think about things could get fucking worse. It could be worse, you know? But
for me, I just don't value a lot of the things that a lot of other people value. Like, I can't go out to the club. Oh, what does that really matter in the grand scheme of things? I want to be able to travel. All right, that's fine. That's actually something, but you'll be able to travel after all of this is done, so... Yeah, what's real? Like, it's not like Boca Raton or Spain is really going anywhere.
That's true. How would you say, like, recently, like, a fear that you had to deal with, like, in your career, making a step forward or just moving anywhere? Have you had any of those lately?
I mean, it's not... as of right now, I would say the biggest thing I had to learn is I stopped looking for a full-time job in the same way that I was before. If one comes to me, I will take it. And if I like a company, I'm still putting out like an application or so every single month. But I am not like throwing out an application at every single job that shows any kind of interest or anything, because I just kind of realized, like, you know what, I could do this myself if I really wanted to, and just kind of calling your own number and taking a shot. Like, calling your own number is probably the most difficult thing that I think there really is, because it's like, it's the ultimate confidence tester. So it's like, I'm going to do this myself. It is not an easy thing for a lot of people to do.
no.
But we would say, like, any point in your life, like, the reservation would be like, I have the confidence in myself. When you didn't have that confidence, do you know any specific thing? Like, oh, man, I wasn't really confident. Like, all right, so at one point you were steady looking for a full-time job. What was your reservation for being like, well, part-time isn't going to fucking work?
Well, it was my own goals. And wanting things for certain things. And I just had to let go of those goals because I ultimately realized that those goals, like, they were superfluous goals. They were just goals for the sake of having goals.
Yeah.
Like, one of my goals was, even though I pretty much exist as an independent entity within my house right now, I was just like, I just want to move out and have my complete and total own place with no one else. no roommates, no nobody. It's just like, does that really matter in the grand scheme of things? Like, there's a few things I can't really do right now, but for the most part, I'm free.
Mm-hmm.
So, let go of it. And, or just kind of maybe push it down, more so down the line or stuff like that. But it's just like, almost all of my or like, I guess increasing my skill set. All I really did was take measures to increase my own skill set. I understand it sounds wild, or maybe my goals are more so simple or attainable. Like, I guess that's another big thing I do is I make sure I set attainable goals and I don't set these superfluous things that are just pies in the sky. Because it's like setting a goal for I want to be the best rapper ever, while that's cool and all, that is a liquid thing. So you ultimately set a goal that, like, depending upon who you are, setting a goal that you can't reach is may or may not be a good or a bad thing, because that could just set people's work ethic to actually work out. Or setting a goal that you can never reach can ultimately discourage you depending upon who you are. It's just like knowing yourself is probably the most important thing to like mastering your fears, because you have know thyself is an important part of knowing thy weaknesses and knowing thy fears. That's what I got.
Touching.
Thank you.
What changed you up, Tony?
He's just letting other people do things because this has been his goal for the podcast this entire time.
Nothing.
I don't know. I think this COVID shit really hit me the most.
It's like, I don't know.
I don't feel fair in that way.
Tony definitely ain't got choice paralysis.
Yeah, no, I don't. I guess the environment that I was raised in, I was always, I guess, taught that there was nothing beyond my reach. And then I started to experience that. Like, most of the things I wanted to do, I was decently good at least to my level. And so I guess I don't really view like new decisions or anything like that as like I could fail. Like, all of this, everything we're doing right now, 10 years from now, could have been worthless and it could amount to zero. I wouldn't care. That don't matter really.
Well, think about what you're not afraid of. What you have a reservation on?
Yes. Really?
It's the only thing.
Really?
Yes. Everything else doesn't really matter to me. Everything, I guess for me, everything else is superfluous. Like, thinking about if people don't like my story or don't like the show or what the negativity or the worst outcome could be is worthless to me. The only time that I have a reservation is when it involves death. Is generally the thing that, like, I'm the most uncomfortable with.
Wow.
Yeah. But other than that, like, as far as like life processes and like being unsure of myself and uncertain, I mean, I might feel a trepidation on something, but I'm generally just gonna go for it. Like, I decided I wanted a job and then was making really good money and then was like, hey, I'm gonna turn this 2-week notice in because I don't know where the money's gonna come from, but I can't be there no more because you niggas got me fucked up. And so for me, it's not, most things like day-to-day decisions don't make me pause. But like, what happens after death? That's terrifying. But that's something that's completely out of my control. But other than
Which
that,
is the worst possible thing, because it's out of your control.
Yeah, but other than that, there's not too much else that really like causes me any feelings of like trepidation or just like
apprehension.
apprehension or uncertainty. Like, even with the like, I wouldn't be able to argue with you the way that we argued about me wanting to move fully into the networking if I had fears if my fears that it wasn't going to be successful were more important than what I wanted to do.
I see, that's the thing. I feel like that there is an important distinction that that you inherently make, but you're probably not vocalizing, is not that you don't make moves to avoid failure.
Oh yeah, no, I avoid failure, but I'm just not afraid of failure.
But you're also not afraid of failure. And I think those are two, it's a very important thing to distinct, because at that point, because oftentimes there are people who jump and then they don't really have a plan or anything like that. It's just like, no, there's still a very detailed plan that could fail.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if everything works out the way I ultimately think it'll work out, it shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I plan for failure, but I'm also like, we have a plan, we have goals, we have things that we're supposed to be executing on.
Yep.
But if those things don't materialize, I'm not afraid of that. I'm not crushed by that. It's not paralyzing me. It doesn't make me less motivated to work. It's just a facet of reality that exists. And me being worried about a facet of reality doesn't make sense. And to articulate better, I'm not worried about dying. That, too, is a facet of reality that exists. What I'm worried about is the after effects of dying.
I was watching this.
What happens after that?
I was watching this.
It's so crazy.
I
I've
was
seen.
You think it's got me fucked up? I'm going to be a cyborg forever.
I was watching this documentary on death on Netflix. It's called Surviving Death, and it's like the most interesting
thing
I've watched.
Get close to death and then kind of like talk about like
it was
their perspective.
If I could ghost to the shell myself, I'm doing it.
They described it as like a very warm hug. Like, this lady lost oxygen for 20 minutes in the fucking river. She showed pictures. All her bones were broken. She's like, they thought I was dead. She saw a light, and all she said, it feels like one big warm hug. And all she heard was, it's not your time.
Girl, my mom have dreams like that all the time. She was chilling with Kobe Bryant in her dream. And they had like this big ass party. Like, I'm like, damn, that's fucking amazing. And she was like, I just want to be with y'all. And Kobe Bryant told her, baby girl, it's not your time. And I'm like,
I don't think we should fear the afterlife.
I don't know what your mom out here taking, but she
I don't fear the afterlife.
What happens next?
I fear that it's not a guarantee. You niggas, when you die and come back and let me know.
It's just like, there's this
when
judgy...
When die, come back and talk to me, we eye to eye. You look me in the eye.
There's this judgy Rastafarian dude.
There's no convincing this.
You gotta stand in line and sign some paperwork. You gotta sign up for your next life that you're gonna do.
The ultimate hell that, like, I watched Supernatural up to a point, and then there was this dude Crowley who turned hell into a continuous line that never ends.
But so that's what purgatory feel like. Endless fucking boredom.
So let me explain to you.
I'm never bringing that up again.
This is the level of fear, though, that I have of what. So my ultimate fear is that the afterlife is nothingness.
But it's not. Like, I remember being... I know I can't convince you.
Returning to nothingness is such a fear for me. Or going to nothingness.
The fear of the unknown, yeah.
I'd be in hell.
You think
it's like, at least there was something.
But do you think that's? But do you think that's
self-aware? Like, what are you about to do? I'm about to make up my own story. You're being tortured.
I don't believe.
But do you think that's like speaking to the fear of like being something like your own power? Because I'm not gonna say I was being nosy, but I know how powerful you are outside of all that. So it's like wild that you be like, they're afraid to die. I'm like, nigga, you is so lit wherever you come from. I don't know how to. I'm gonna say what I saw because I was being nosy. I'm like, oh, what's this nigga like? And I'm like, all right, I saw him on this horse and he was leading this army. And I'm like, oh, whatever the fuck. That just seemed like something he'd do. But then I was like, well, how vast is this army? Y'all remember The Mummy 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Remember when Anubis had an army and then they defeated it and then it came right back? Like, that's how vast this nigga's army is. So I'd be so confused. So Tony be like, I'm afraid. I'm like, for what? There's so many riches for you waiting. And I know I can't convince him of that. Look, I'm shaking his head like, I don't know none of that shit. But I've seen it. I'm like,
I think about that is at that point someone killed his horse and he's going to try and murder them all.
You can't die in the spirit because
the horse is dead.
You can't. How could you die?
Horses don't have souls.
But that's so fucking wild. Every time he said that, I've been wanting to tell this nigga this forever.
That's the only thing that that's why when y'all see me like in my day to day, it feels like, oh, Tony could just move. Nothing else matters for real. is move forward, take a hit, or score. If I take a hit, I pivot and continue to move forward. But other than that, fuck it. And so, but I don't think a lot of people have that relentlessness that I have, because there's only one other thing that gives me a certain level of trepidation, and it's not existing. So as long as I exist, you think I'm not gonna do shit? You think I'm gonna be sitting here? Watch me work. Watch, because I'm here. Watch this.
Oh.
Yeah, other than that, yeah. So for me, I can always. That's why I don't have any like limiter for real, because and
this is the reason why people like me around you are very important, because sometimes you have to be brought back. Like, Tony, that's not the way that this works.
It does, and you're wrong. But we can talk about that anyway.
Oh.
Anyway, I think my fear is like definitely evolves around the fear of the unknown. Not like with spiritual things, because I'm pretty confident in my spiritual powers, but with just interacting with humans on a day-to-day, because I know if I reveal it felt like for a while that if I reveal a weakness within myself, you have total control over me, because that's what it feel like. I feel like a nasty ass, oh God, what needing people is something, or just saying that I needed help is something that I still struggle with. And just speaking on how I feel is something that's very like, I don't know what's going to happen next after I tell you like something's wrong, because that's just something I have to deal with. I ain't going to blame it on my parents no more.
We gonna fix it. If something's wrong, we can fix it.
Sometimes, but there's something in me that's like, no one else can fix this problem. It's all fucking you. They see this. They're not gonna see you this way. How dare they? How dare they see you any other way than what the fuck you've been putting out there? That is something that I'm just like, oh my God, what? Like, I cannot deal with that. Like when you ask me like, what's wrong, Ash? And I just be like, I don't know, or I just don't want to talk about it. It's just a natural reflex. I probably do want to talk about it, but I don't know how I want to talk about it till it all comes crashing down and I'm sitting in my fucking room under my blanket listening to fucking movie soundtracks crying. I mean, so it's all gonna come to a head eventually, but I just definitely noticed that about myself, like, oh shit.
Well, I guess there's a few things that people need to really understand about me. I don't superficially ask what's wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm looking to solve a problem, because there's obviously something wrong with you. Yeah. It's like, now you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm real good at that.
Lying to yourself is purposeless, because it doesn't get anything solved.
This is true.
That's like lying, man, that check engine light on my car ain't on.
No, I've just...
the check engine light
it's the fuck it is on.
It's like, you're about to blow up your fucking engine.
It ain't going nowhere.
Or it's like that gas light, that's also on. The car don't care. It's just going to stop.
It's just going to stop.
And eventually you're just going to stop, and you're going to be like, what happened? I just needed like a whole day to recharge and think about stuff. Like, you probably wouldn't have needed a whole day if you would have took it earlier.
Yeah. But I think dealing with fear, like I said, it's just more so about putting on that fucking, like how Batman does when he has to assume there's bats, his fear of bats, and he has to wear his fear on his skin and just kind of move forward anyway. It's something that's super important. And I get a lot of people won't be on that vibe, and a lot of people will. But that's something that like I had to like test myself into, is just saying like, just going back, like say if I fucked up and then like someone's like, what's wrong? And like going back and be like, well, I was having this problem. It's always a chance to redeem yourself from your fears, I think. I don't think people feel like they can sometimes, or they just think it's just bigger than them. It's like, nah, you just kind of got to wear it and just move forward despite those things. And it's a process. It's not like one day you just be like, well, fuck it. Like you could. Like I definitely had some revelations for real from reading about Krishna and Kali. But I'll get into that when I get into the third part. But anyway, now we're going to go into chaos. Chaos, babies. How do y'all feel when chaos enter your life? The unexpected.
Point at something and use it. Otherwise, it's superfluous.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos, huh?
I'm an agent of chaos.
Exactly.
I would feel like all of y'all know that by now. At this point, y'all know that Tony is...
You've claimed it on multiple podcasts.
I mean, but besides me claiming, I feel like y'all have seen, like, Tony just enjoys a small level of just...
random shit.
Yeah, like, for me, it doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I planned for chaos, which sounds crazy.
But how do you plan for chaos? That's not even a thing.
I fucking hate chaos.
Yeah.
Do not bring chaos to my goddamn. I do not handle it well. I don't handle stress well. I'll take it out on myself. Like, I hold it in real good, but no.
I don't.
No.
I'm a master planner type, so that means I just assume that something's gonna go wrong. So, and as long as I assume that something is gonna go wrong, I can be prepared to deal with it. But if you just go through life assuming that nothing's gonna ever come into your plan and just like try and fuck it up, then of course you're just gonna be upset with like chaos all the time. It's like, I got this plan, yada yada yada. God damn it, my car broke down. Well,
chaos for me is energy, and it can be a very vibrant energy at times. I'll say that.
oh,
And I won't deny that I can sometimes instigate a level of chaotic feeling just environmentally around me. Not necessarily bringing it into like what's going on with me, but just like a chaotic environment doesn't bother me. Like, I work very well under pressure, under stress, like, so none of that really bothers me. And there's an energy to chaos. It's a very, like, I won't say powerful energy, but very potent. Yeah, potent is a very good word. Because it won't, not necessarily a lot of it, but it can get a lot of shit done.
that's the reason why you got pointed at something.
But that's,
But how could you direct chaos to anything? That's weird.
I don't look to direct it at anything.
No, I'm not. I'm asking him.
Right.
Oh, how do you?
Why would you direct something that doesn't have any direction to anyway? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just is. So how do you control what just
if
is?
It just is. That means it's just gonna be where it is.
So
And
how
if
could
it's
you
just
direct
over
it as
there, then
something?
It can just be over there. I mean, honestly, because the ultimate thing is, it's just like, if it just is, you could actively attempt to avoid it. If it's coming at you, you can kind of rechannel that and put it to somewhere else. I think the most effective people at life are the people who let problems kind of work against each problem work against one another, as opposed to like trying to deal with every single problem as it comes. It's just like, well, how can I play these two problems against one another for them to solve each other? It's just like, well, I got this issue over here, and I got this issue over here, so it means it's like, I have these, like, say, I don't know, like, with my nephew, per se. It's like, alright, so we got this problem with him being down inside of wherever he is currently, and he's down there cutting up, acting a fool. And we also have my grandmother, who is more so elderly, and she needs some looking after and stuff like that. Those are two problems that we can kind of point at each other. It's just like, all right, Ryan, you know what your responsibility is now. You got to go over there and shovel your grandmother's walkway and do all this other stuff. We're going to pay you for doing it, so that's not really a problem. It's actually going to benefit you, and while you're up here, that's going to be a way of getting you money, and also a way of occupying you to keep you from doing stupid shit. It's just like letting your problems work against one another, because ultimately I can't really control what my nephew does 100%, and I can't control the fact that, like, my grandmother's life, I don't know why I want to say deprecating, but that's the only word that I have vocabulary, but you're like deteriorating. Like, these are two things that I know. So one, I know you being over there, me dropping you off over there, is like, it's going to keep you inside of a place where I know you're going to get certain life skills, because that is a person who made sure she gave me a lot of my life skills. And I also know that it's going to have somebody over there looking out for my grandmother. Making your two ultimately chaotic things, one more predictable, one a lot less predictable, and allowing them to work against each other. You can't always do that, but if in life, when you can do that, you should make sure you do. And that's how I kind of channel chaos. Because my nephew is chaotic, and this other thing is, while predictable, it's also a negative thing, and more so chaotic, because you never know when there's really going to be a problem. Point them at one another, help them solve each other.
What about, like, for the Joker? Oh, I know that symbol. What about for the Joker? His whole thing the whole symbolism between Batman and Joker were actually two sides of the same coin. Joker was just completely off his fucking rocker. You niggas is terrible. And it only takes a tiny push for you to bring out who you truly are. Where Batman was on the other absolute entirely good. We're going to do this because it's the right thing to do.
I mean, I guess you could look at it from the perspective that Charles needed his cousin or nephew to be misbehaved. If he wasn't misbehaved, y'all would have never thought of the solution.
Oh, I mean, true, but as of that point, we don't have two problems, we only have one, and we can actually meet that one on this on Frontier. It's like, sometimes you need two problems, but, like, also,
I guess what I don't agree with is chaos has a resolution. Because I believe chaos is an agent for change. I do particularly well with chaos.
I mean, eventually,
I don't deal with it in a super... That's what I'm trying to get to. For me, chaos, if I know chaos comes into my life, something has to go. Something has to be done away with. Because I'm holding on too much of the logic and too much of what I think should happen and too much of my goals and all the things. Like when you not conquer your fear of death, but when you said, like, death is the only thing that really matters to me and everything else is null and void. I had to conquer my fear of death in the way of dealing with pain, which is actually the next thing. Like, dealing with chaos for me is kind of inevitable. And once I learned to just, like, sit there and kind of let it happen and watch the dust settle, then I can think about something logical and how to fix it and everything like that. But like with COVID and everything, if I didn't see any opportunity to learn and get everything at a discount, I would have just been in the throes of chaos instead of just kind of observing it and seeing, like, the chaos that's going on outside of me could also be a reflection of the chaos that's going on inside of me. And it was actually pretty interesting. Somebody said on Facebook, if you like starting shit, then maybe you want the world to reflect what's going on outside of yourself. And I had to ask myself, well, how do I not feel safe or comfortable or anything like that? Like, that was for me personal. And that's why I really don't be on social media no more, because I saw that in myself as, like, I want this attention and I want y'all to feel uneasy, and I was reaching for a goal, and now I'm just like, I really don't care. You niggas is gonna do what the fuck you want to do. What I got to say is, like, gonna last for 10 to 15 minutes maybe, and I'm gonna cause a ruckus, but really it was just really self-serving to be like, okay, I'm nervous about a thing, or I just want to poke at you for what? You know, now I just, like, have a level of, I wouldn't say calmness, but I just don't care about what niggas have to say either way. Not apathy, it's just I've let it go. Because I'll post every once in a while, but I'm not looking for, like, a result from it.
Oh, I mean, it's wild that I think looking for results or vindication from social media is probably the worst place to get your vindication from.
Yeah, but that's also a place of chaos. Like, everything could change within a dime. You know what I'm saying? The fucking Bernie Sanders meme could show you what chaos is on a small level about everybody got to keep up to make the greatest fucking meme, and then you're just going to move on to something else in, like, 10 minutes.
I mean, you have to opt in. You have to opt in to make the meme. You could just sit there and giggle and look at and laugh at the memes.
You could be, but observing that shit is something I just really don't put myself into anyway. I think I just learned how to observe chaos and just know, like, if it's here, then that means some change got to happen. And chaos, I don't think, maybe it's just because I just grew up in it, maybe, I don't fucking know, but chaos never was, out of these three things, I've never been the biggest issue for me.
Oh.
Because sometimes I just like seeing niggas just be insane. I was just this one little push, like pushing people's buttons sometimes just be funny as shit, but also sometimes it's also like, I have reached a level where I just know, like, when chaos comes, change need to happen, and I need to let it happen.
I just kind of look around at chaos, and oftentimes chaos is a result of someone else's or some action or something that was predictable down the line. Like COVID, like the results of COVID have been fairly predictable. We mapped it out. We knew it was going to happen based upon what we did. Mm-hmm. So, like, as of this point, I don't really consider COVID chaos. I consider it very predictable. We know what happens. We know how it spreads. We know how things work. We just chose not to.
Well, I would disagree with that because you don't know how it's going to mutate. You don't know how it's going to affect people later on. You don't know anything yet. You just know what they tell you. You know, people that's got COVID, you don't know how it's going to affect them long term.
I mean, this is also true, but I just assume that there's going to be long-term ramifications and assume that those aren't going to necessarily be good.
You don't know how the economy is going to be affected. You don't know. Like, it's just, COVID is really new and it's thrown everybody for a loop. I don't care who you are.
I mean, but it's not our first pandemic. We've seen something like this with the Spanish flu.
No, but we weren't around during the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
We weren't there.
We weren't there.
Right.
But history can tell us how these things bore out.
But I feel like this is a little bit different. I don't know. It's just...
This is a whole level of extreme
Right.
that no one in history has really dealt with us alive today. I don't know how they dealt with the Spanish flu. I can only read information about how they dealt with the Spanish flu. Do anybody personally I dealt with the Spanish flu? No, I do not. Maybe I do. I don't know. But this is a whole new level of
Are
extreme.
your grandparents alive?
A few, yeah.
I do believe that was a pandemic that they would have technically lived through. Like, I know mine did. But my grandmother's like 90-something.
Mm-hmm. You asked her about it, like, what was it like to live through this?
I generally have a general amount of count. Like, I know what it was like to live through the Great Depression. I know it was like, because both of my grandparents were one generation removed from slavery.
You know of what it's like, but you don't know what it's like. You heard what they stories was, but you wasn't there to be like, nigga, we had to chew leather, whatever the fuck they was doing.
We had to eat Spam all the time. Like,
yeah,
a lot of y'all don't.
You can only comment on their experiences.
I mean, they were out here eating dandelion greens. They were literally out here.
Have you picked when you went to the field and picked out some dandelion greens lately? For what reason? Exactly.
But that's the thing. It's just like, understand, like, I think it's weird that everyone believes that they have to go through something in order, like, and I understand going through it to completely and totally understand it, but I can observe something and then understand it.
I don't believe in that.
No,
I don't believe in that.
Because you can observe something and just know the information about it. And maybe you can have an empathetic feeling, being like, that must have been hard. And then go about your life.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to experience none of that.
Oh, shit, that sucks.
Yeah, that's the best you can do. Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And I know it was hard.
Oh, shoot,
and then
that
go
sucks.
play on your PlayStation.
Like, it's way different than experiencing things like...
Yeah, like if I just had to tell somebody this is how you drive a car. When you get to the stoplight, flick the thing down and make it go left. That's way different than getting behind that bitch and driving it,
like,
ain't it?
What I tell my kids, like, about today, like, it'd be like, well, shit, mommy was fucked up. She had to get on unemployment. I done lost my job. I had to downgrade my lifestyle. They'd be like, oh, okay, mom. From their fucking $500,000 account, be like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back to playing PlayStation.
You
don't give a damn.
We don't give a fuck. Hey man, you need to do this because this, and this.
I think people are kind of self-inserting because it's like, my rapport with my grandparents is like, I kind of took, for the most part, what they said to heart.
That's okay, but you still didn't experience it. You are empathetic towards what happened. That is 1,000,000% okay.
Yeah, but like,
but you didn't experience that shit.
What you're saying is, like the car example, there is an actual mechanical value to repetition inside of that situation. Mm-hmm. Whereas I don't see an actual mechanical value to repetition in like re-experiencing a pandemic. It's like, what I can really observe from the difference between back then and now is like, for the most part, a lot of people have mirrored these things, and it's just like these things have for the most part bared out to be the same. We have a similar mortality rate. We can argue our mortality rate probably would have been worse if our medical treatment wasn't as good as it is. Like, we can reflect on things and understand things, because saying that we can't, like, saying we have to experience something in order to in order to have any level of understanding is like, I think that's fundamentally flawed.
You have an understanding. I'm not denying that you don't understand, but there's a different level to your understanding.
I'm not saying there's not different levels to their understanding, but saying I gotta jump off this cliff in order to understand what it's like to hit the bottom is like, I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna die.
But I'm not talking about the end result where you're talking about how you got value from whatever. What about when you fall in love? You can't describe that shit to nobody. No. You just be in fucking love. You can't tell your son.
Yeah, but that's an emotion.
That love is wait.
Just
you
like
get the point I'm trying to make.
But it's like, I don't believe the point. I don't believe these two things are analogous.
Okay.
Like, I can look at these things as like, all right, what effect? Well, yeah, it's not a pandemic. People are not going to be able to work. So the economy is going to get worse. Basic principles of macroeconomics says that the government probably should have had higher tax rates so because we can afford to do things like bailouts and things of that nature inside of these situations and inside of this instance we balked that trend again so because we didn't have like the surplus to be able to bail the people out like
what
these are all this is the knowledge that I have.
I understand what he said.
Like
so I get both perspectives and the reason I get both perspectives where the pandemic was wildly crazy for a lot of people, but the pandemic also was wildly profitable for a lot of people. And I think that has to do with knowledge bases. Some people I feel like some people didn't feel trepidation because they felt like what they knew in the past was all they needed. While other people weren't worried about necessarily what happened in the past because they were more worried about the pressures of what was going on and how they feel. But I also don't think that it's weird that both you and Trina are more like, nah, this shit wasn't alright. But y'all are both women, and it probably didn't make you feel comfortable the entire time that there was no, like, general consensus of anything. Everything was moving, was transient, and kind of, like, free-flowing and just made up on the spot. Where, up until this point, I don't really think that's how y'all lives have, like, operated, even with, like, general chaos. Where I think that Charles more just was like, well, this is what it is, and
logically,
like, well,
this is what's going to happen.
This, and so he took that and didn't worry about how it made him feel. Because I know, I guess at least with talking with both of you throughout the pandemic, I know that like y'all were upset with like, oh, I can't go here or this place is closed. Like, a lot of it was like
Tony talking to
emotional responses to how you guys felt.
Well, it wasn't the fact that I couldn't go anywhere. It was the fact that I lost my fucking job. Like,
even if you can't,
you didn't like the pandemic. It wasn't that you were happy that everything was closed.
Well, I also
no, but it wasn't like, oh my god, why the fuck? No, I was just like, oh well, shit.
No, it was for me. Fuck that.
It
I don't
wasn't me.
understand how this is the thing. Like, to completely just be like, which I get from a dude's perspective, because y'all just see as emotion as an obstacle to overcome. But to deny it completely is just insane. Like, y'all can't sit here and tell me that y'all wasn't scared. I know for a fact Tony made me sit on the cross from the couch for me because he was like, I don't know where you been. Meaning that he was uncomfortable with like,
no, that's just completely a totally logical based move.
How is that a logical based move?
Because I don't know where you've been, Sebby. Why would I allow you?
But
to
there's still some sort of reservation. There's still some sort of like, you need to stay over there because
I guess for me that didn't bring chaos to me.
I can control how far away you are.
No, not even that. If Ash got me sick, that wouldn't have really mattered to me. I guess more of my trepidation in that regard is who are the other people that I could get. So I guess more so worried about the chaos that it could bring to their lives. I walk around like I'm invincible 99% of the time. And I believe it 100% of the time. But I also recognize that the way that your life operates and the way that people's lives operate around you aren't necessarily the same. So no, I did feel trepidation for like, what if I get that old lady sick? That'd be fucked up. So yeah, no, definitely a level of trepidation, but I don't
view trepidation as an emotion. I view trepidation as a logical.
For me, yeah, no. Even if it is an emotional response for me, it elicited
from a
logical reaction.
It's like, I don't.
Like, I wasn't never going, like, me being worried about, where's Ash been was never going to be, well, you gotta use a hazmat suit before you come to my house, and you gotta bathe yourself. it was never gonna go to like a real level of like fear. You've already walked through the door. Shit, what's happening happened already, for real.
Yeah, it's true.
But I'm gonna do the things that I can do.
Yeah, so if I was super worried about it, I wouldn't do this. So it's a level of like, it's a thought on my mind, but that's more of a consideration for me. Like,
Is this worth it? Cost benefit analysis.
and not even if it's worth it. This could potentially get me sick. All right, well, let's move on. She's here now, and we're going to continue. But that is a reality, and I guess for me, realities don't require an emotional response. You could get me sick. That's a fact. You will get me sick is an opinion. But you could. And lots of people could get me sick, so I guess for me, as long as it's a reality of like what can happen, I can logic it away to where it needs to go. There's nothing about the situation that like shape me and clothes didn't matter to me. Like yeah, none of that mattered. But the changing, I guess that was just more of a logical like, all right, I feel this way, so what are the logical steps I can take? And but yeah, it bringing like a real level of chaos wasn't really present.
Like, people losing their jobs because of the pandemic, I don't think is inherently chaotic, because I assumed that was going to happen because industries were going to shrink.
You don't think that's chaotic?
No,
The
it was a predictable reaction.
I mean, that's a predictable reaction, but from those people's ends, like, they're like,
so like I said,
man.
I think Charles is speaking only from how he views things.
Right.
I think that
I
is
view things very
chaotic
macro.
for
Individuals.
Like, I've seen people lose their business. I've seen people lose, losing their house. Like, it is very chaotic.
Shit.
When you don't know how you're going to feed
When
your
the pandemic
kids.
first happened,
Yeah.
outside of you, because you kept your job for a majority of the pandemic.
It's still a pandemic going on. I kept it
I
through.
From the initial wave.
From I lost my job end of August.
Yeah, so the majority of
So
you
when
kept
it
your job.
first, yeah, but I knew I was preparing for it. I knew what was
guess
gonna
for me is,
happen.
I saw the pandemic hit, and I saw niggas instantly lose income.
Yeah.
Like people like Jones lost his job because schools closed. Frank Job lost his job because
Restaurants
closed. Frankie lost his job because restaurants closed, and that's where he worked. So a lot of people that I know that work just in food service instantly didn't have a job.
Oh yeah.
So I guess I can see how that was probably chaotic for them. It was also one of the most profitable times for me
Okay.
last year.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel chaotic to me because it was very predictable. So yes, no, the pandemic could be chaotic, but I don't think that it had to be and that it was for everybody.
I'm not saying I was tearing my hair out. I
Oh,
knew.
no, we're not saying.
No. Just.
We're not.
Right.
We're not looking at this on an individual basis. It's just like, if you remove yourself from the situation and you sit and you look at this stuff, it's just like, all right. So if no one can sit in restaurants currently, there's no need for waiters.
Oh no, see, I think it was very chaotic for markets. Like, where is my next check gonna come?
Yeah.
When unemployment ends, how am I going to pay my bills? So I understand that, no, it was a very chaotic time for people.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that was only a portion of the populace. There was another portion where it was a wildly profitable time.
Right.
So that's why I don't think that the pandemic itself was chaotic for everybody. I think that for certain people it was chaotic, and for others, while no one knew what was going to happen in like a totality of the world sense, especially when you're millionaire, billionaire status, a lot of the generals,
The micro stuff doesn't matter.
It's not going to matter because you're not going to really be affected by it.
Well, right now,
You can go off and
But-
you and your family can quarantine. You and all your extended family can quarantine in your mansion and still relatively live the same type of lifestyle.
But you gotta think though. The longer this goes on, like, yeah, millions and millionaires, not billionaires. But
I guess what I'm saying is the reason that for me is half and half is, so I know, like I said, I have people that I'm directly connected to where it was crazy and chaotic.
Yeah.
But me, myself, I made a lot of money. I know other people that when they quarantine, like one of our friends, Brenda's family, they own like a whole street in Maryland. Mm-hmm. The whole family just went up there and quarantined there. Yeah. Like they have like 4 or 5 houses there, so they all just stayed there. So their lives didn't really change. They got to see family. They went to the grocery store. Like, so yeah, they stopped going to work, but they didn't really lose a quality of life. Like,
right, but they don't represent the majority of the population.
But I don't even think it matters the majority of the population. It was still chaotic no matter what you did with it. That's the point of chaos. It doesn't matter really what. I mean, it is what it is with chaos.
What wasn't predictable?
She looks so upset with you.
I'm trying to figure out what wasn't a logical chain of events to happen during this pandemic.
Have you ever seen a whole entire world shut down? Right. Was that not predictable? That
was the most
anywhere, right?
Even with
that's the thing.
Ain't nothing stopped.
I knew that was gonna happen because China already did it.
How did you know that was gonna happen?
China already did it.
Globally though?
It's like
China be doing a whole bunch of shit by themselves.
No, but it's like I looked at the overall effect. It is just like the Eastern countries. Like, what do we have to do? We had to completely and totally shut down and subsidize our.
That's what Western countries do. Some totally different shit than Eastern countries all the fucking time.
All right, but that's the thing. As of that point, that's people. It's like what needed to be done and what actually happened. Yeah, you could say there was some differentiation, but the funny thing was, we still ended up slanting towards what the Eastern countries actually ended up doing.
Which has never been seen before on a global scale like that. When has the world ever done that in unison like that? Even with, like I said, even with the Black Plague, I've never read about anything
because
the countries had to shut down.
When something is smart and you're forced to do it, you don't really have too much of a choice. Like, what choice was there?
Niggas just unanimously just decided, like, just shut it all the fuck down. I don't know if that was a smart. How is that a smart thing when 20 million people just instantly lost their fucking jobs?
No, what wasn't smart? What wasn't smart was the government not
stay at home.
What wasn't smart was the government not actually subsidizing like they were fucking supposed to. But at that point,
and thus chaos.
That wasn't really chaos. That was just a
reaction towards chaos. They didn't fucking decide to do anything. Was it a good reaction or a bad reaction? It don't matter. Chaos is chaos. It showed the fuck up and it reared its ugly head. No matter what you did with it, advanced from it or just stayed in the minutia of what chaos brought.
It's like I looked at it. It was just like, yo, y'all gotta hand out some checks. Y'all didn't hand out checks. Well, this became very problematic. So. Because, like, for me, you know what I was doing? I was dealing with a lot of people who, one, had to shift their call centers to completely and totally at-home work. It's like...
chaos. No, that's not the really. Normal fucking thing.
That's how it should have been to begin with, because if you can do your job from your house.
No. A lot of people now don't like working from home. They can't...
From a business standpoint, it doesn't...
Productivity didn't change.
Yes, it does.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Shit, when I work from home, productivity changed as fuck.
Some people do good working from home. Some people don't.
I love working from home, but what I did for somebody else.
Increase in productivity when you work at home is about a 10 to 15% decrease.
Yeah.
Because you be like, oh, well, let me go run and check the mail. Oh, let me go put this in the microwave. Because you feel like you have just that quick 30 seconds to go do something else that you wouldn't do while you're at work. So no, your productivity in theory changes, I guess, because you could articulate that when you're at work, you could be fucking off and not necessarily on your phone on Facebook.
Bro, so that shit is front and center. There's no manager or nothing around you.
People are assuming that you're 100% productive at work. And that's functionally wrong.
And think about...
I'd rather have you there.
It's like...
Is this shit that you won't do?
Controlling.
No, even... I'm still going to... But I can... No, it's not being controlling. Because let's say... you're not productive here 100% of the time. I guarantee that it's not 15% of the productivity that I'm missing from you. Maybe I'm missing 5%. I'm okay with a 5% degradation over a 10 to 15%. So no, it's about a percentage. So no, I'm not getting 100% of you regardless of where you're at. But if I can mitigate, because now you feel like, oh, you have a boss and someone watching over your shoulder, So you're gonna close that when I come around and get back to work. That's what I need because there's no one to come around when you're at home. So no, there's a different level of productivity. The only reason that I follow it is because I'm a business person.
And you know what happened? People released software that allowed you to actually monitor people's work.
I had that. I used to work when I used to work for Safeguard.
That's been the thing. It's still not as
I didn't work there. Take that back.
I'm telling you, it's not as productive.
Wait,
And I've literally, but the thing is, I actually talked to people who work at Progressive, people who work at Medical Mutual, and they said they're
everybody back into the building.
Actually, as of this point, they're not.
No, they're not right now. I guarantee they're bringing everybody back into the building.
You know,
But here's the
originally they
thing.
were, but some of those jobs are just staying home.
Here's the
Not all
thing.
of it.
He's not wrong because my sister works for a company that she has to work from home, and what they found
there are
is
some companies that are choosing
what
to.
what they found is that actually they're saving money,
Oh, no,
Yeah.
and
you can save
actually,
money on overhead and certain other costs. Yes.
but they do monitor, like, your production has to be
Trust me.
more up. But my thing is that some
By
people
2022, a vast majority of the people are back working in offices.
no.
Y'all want to take that bet?
Yeah, I'll take it. $10. Look, I'm working with okay, 100.
This nigga went from 1 to 3,000.
$100. No, I can't do 100. Look,
2022, most people will be back at work.
no. It's cost effective.
First things first, like, all right, what metric do you have to actually judge that by?
We should say 2023.
Do you mean like you can
Like, how do you know at what point do you, like, at what incentive do people actually have to report the amount of at-home workers that they actually have?
It was headed that way
There's a census
anyway.
right now already. And
But Tony,
As of right now, we're analyzing these things, but in 2023, we just may not be.
no, there's always been statistics on them. Y'all who are in the business world just never gave a fuck about them is what I'm trying to tell you. There've always been analyzations, and year over year you can go back and track this about productivity. So it's not just that they just looked at it this year because of the pandemic. No, this has been something that has been experimented with and then retracted and then experimented. Because yes, it does save you money. You're right. It saves you overhead in buying a fucking facility. It saves you money and fucking time to commute. Saves you a lot of fucking money. But you know what they recognize? That you start to get a lower quality of productivity. The quality that gets turned in is degraded. So there's a lot of other issues that they're not willing to sacrifice. So that's why they keep going back. Because this isn't the first time that they've sent everybody
but
home.
here's the thing, Tony, that
And they're like, hey, let's not work inside the building. Let's go home.
But here's the
and
thing.
they keep bringing them back inside.
Well, it's like, I mean, from what
So control, you're right. Control is a portion of it. But if I'm paying you, yes, I want a fucking level of control.
I mean, from what I've seen, from majority of the spheres that I'm actually touching and dealing with, a lot of these people, they're not bringing them back.
Yeah.
Like for most of the places that I'm working with, there are permanent options to just stay at home. Now, there are people who do like to commute. There are people who like to step away from their houses. There are people who just don't want to be, particularly now because their kids are always there. But
Tony,
No, trust me. People are going to be very open to the idea of working at home for about a year.
But what you're
By
missing.
2022 is going to change.
But what you're missing, Tony, is things are never. I don't think they're going to go back to what they used to be.
That's not what I'm saying.
But that's a part of it. Like, you're talking about commuting and going to an office. It was headed this way anyway. A lot of people were transitioning on working from home anyway. Why would I spend so much money on an office building? I get what you're saying, but there's ways to monitor, and they're just now figuring that out. There's ways to monitor productivity and every other thing. Like, it's not. I get what you're saying is true, but also what Charles is saying is really true. A lot of these buildings, they're selling out. Progressive just, I think, is trying to sell their building. It's
Right
not
now, in this short, like I said,
short.
yes,
in business, anything shorter than like
5 years.
5 years is
short.
considered to be short term.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, 2020, 2021. Sure, they're going to work from home. By 2022, you're going to see a shift from them being, hey, work from home to we're working in the building.
Half of those people will go back to that building. Half of those people will be at home. Watch.
Okay. You're going to see a shift. And I don't have an opinion on it one way. Like, I don't care one way or the other. I just understand the reasons why it's more effective for me to have visual control over you.
I can understand those things, but it's one of those. I don't know. Maybe the marketplaces or the places that I'm working with are a lot more relaxed and stuff like that.
So you went to Progressive.
Progressive and Medical Mutual.
Yeah. So Progressive right now is hiring at-home positions.
Yeah.
You know what all those positions fucking say?
Temporary. For now.
So because they're not planning for you not to be inside the building for a long-term period. It is a short-term because you're right. Right now, no one knows what's going on. So as long as they are still operating under a guise of chaos, being at home is the best decision because it saves them the most money. We don't have to pay for you getting sick here. You don't contaminate anybody else. There's no quarantining you and paying for you to not come to work and have to be quarantined because you can do all your shit from home. So, right now, it is a bigger benefit to be at home than to have them in the office. But I guarantee, once it starts to switch, once the vaccine starts to be pushed out, businesses aren't going to look at it that way anymore. Because control is infinitely more valuable.
It's one of those things where like I've seen the way these larger places are run, and they're not actually run like tight ships. Like people be bullshitting and people don't actually do the amount of work.
That's not what I said. You're right. No, but that's not what it is.
I understand. It's like
so. It's about comfort, Charles. Me being able to see you
is a lot more comforting, or you makes people believe that they're actually have some flexibility and control.
Yes, and so that's what it is. It's all about the perception. So they're gonna feel a level of no control with this whole year of y'all not being there. I guarantee it.
Oh, I mean, I would say like more so middle management is actually kind of paranoid about this because middle management is kind of looking at it as like, well, if I'm not looking over their shoulders, what's my job? You really don't have one.
Oh, no, middle management. I mean,
they're still looking at your
traditional thing, but you never want to be middle management. If you
middle management is the easiest to cut.
If you follow business, you know that middle management has traditionally always been the first thing to go. It is just a natural thing. So no, that is not a new phenomenon for middle management to be worried because anytime a business changes their policies, practices, middle management is generally the first to go. So no, middle management is always worried. So it's not like, oh, they sent them home? Now we're worried. No, they've been worried. So that's why it's not different. It's them running the same playbook. Nothing is different about this. They've sent people home to see how much money was going to save them before. And it saved a lot of money, but it wasn't worth what they had to sacrifice. So they brought everybody back.
Cost-benefit analysis has changed. When was the last time we had this major shift?
Probably 2015.
So it wasn't terribly long ago?
Not really, because every time technology takes a wrap up or video chatting, things like that come, everybody's like, oh, we can work from home, and then they try it. And then it's nowhere near as productive as they wanted it to be, and they bring these niggas back. Every time technology advances, they give this a try.
Oh, I would say the main measure, the ultimate
robots
maturity.
that are just going to do what the fuck you want them to do from the...
I would say the ultimate maturity of this is actually more just hybrid positions where part of it is home, part of it is at work.
I mean, that might be something, but I'm telling you that people are going back to the office. You just staying at the house is not going to be a thing.
I, as a person who works inside of these offices, they're wildly inefficient. Like having meetings having meetings every fucking morning, that's a waste of my fucking time.
You're 1,000%. I'm not arguing that.
It's just like, they're wildly inefficient.
I'm not arguing that.
It's just like, the quality of work
is a better situation, or that's where you even need to be. I just know that that's where they want you to be.
But anywho.
And I don't know why. Well, I mean, they like control, so I do know why, actually.
So what's number 3?
Pain. Yeah.
Pain is a part of growth.
Well, Ben actually represented death, which was actually kind of funny. But
my reaction to the third Christopher Nolan film is not very good. So
That's my favorite one, to be honest.
That's mine.
That's my favorite
Y'all are
one.
weird.
I know it got
The third
flaws,
one was
but I don't
really
give a fuck. I love that movie.
I
It's
can't
so-
wait to the new one though.
I am looking at.
Batman.
I knew way too much about Batman walking into that film. I felt about the same way about that film as Tony feels about the Joker movie. It's just like I showed up here. It's just like this is none of the people that I showed up to be. I broke the bat. Shut up.
I can't wait to see the new one though.
Robert Pattinson.
I
think it's gonna be
if you
good.
look at pain as Batman overcoming like his pain and fear of death and getting rid of that rope and like
he wasn't really afraid of death, and that was the fucking issue. He was always trying to die, which is something I can identify with, not in a morbid way.
Well, yeah, well, no, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Last year, you were always like, yeah, I'm ready to be out here.
Let's go.
That's not where you need. That's not the most productive space for you to be in. Because that leaves you so just like uninterested in everything else, and everything else is important right now. Because you're still here.
Yeah, I think it was on opposite side of the spectrums on that one.
I got one.
Or the possible worst case is just like, damn, got to the other side. I'm fucking wrong. There's nothing over here.
Right.
It's like,
No, I'm like,
I'm gonna live it up while I'm
Yeah,
over
but
here.
that's
got more
why I
living
think
to
I was
do.
always into it, because I knew it was something over there that had to be infinitely better than what was here.
All right, that's terrible. Grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah,
syndrome.
yeah.
But I knew it though. I knew like, nigga, it's something outside of this, and I want to be with it all the time.
I find it funny that you are so absolute in this, but you refuse to be absolute in almost anything else.
What?
Like, just period. You were like, there's something over there.
I know it.
But
You
I
can't
can ask-
convince
hurry
me
to find
not.
out. And like,
It's like, I can ask you, hey, Ash, is there grass outside? I don't know.
Let's go check. I'm always down for the adventure, but
It's
that
like-
adventure on the other side is something I'm real familiar with, though. I'm
It's
not.
like, I know it's
speaking-
over there, though.
Yeah,
I know
I'm not
that's over
speaking
there.
like owning the business. I'm not speaking from a point of, oh, I think this is what's gonna happen now. I know it's there. What else you want me to say? Like, you know, you a software engineer. You're not going around telling everybody like, did you know I'm a software engineer? Did you know? I would question you like, I don't think that nigga is a software engineer. If you were constantly telling me like, I'm like, I don't think that guy's a software engineer. I think he works at McDonald's.
That was the wonderful thing I had to learn is just like, you know what? That was actually the best advice I've ever gotten in college is just like, so, you know that aspiring tag that a lot of people like to put on things? Get rid of that shit. You are. What do you mean? You made something. You are a software engineer. You
But
are
see,
a
you
game
know
designer.
that. You know it back to like, I would assume like the back of your
Everyone
fucking
has
hand.
this blue is like, like the biggest thing is, I am an aspiring writer. No,
Mm-hmm.
you're a writer. Did you write something? Yes, you're a writer. Like, just call it what it is.
And how would you know if you was writing unless you were just sitting there pontificating about what you think about writing? It's about, like, that's what I'm saying, experience is a part of it, not just to devalue what you know the information of. Like, I could read 10 million books on writing, but unless I started writing myself to understand the process, to understand the frustration of writer's block, you wouldn't know those nuances, would you? No, you could only observe that from, like, same thing with software engineer. I don't know what the fuck going on over there, but you know it because you've experienced, you know, like the back of your hand. I'd be like, yo, what's the code for blah, blah? You'd be like, A equals MC squared. I don't fucking know. But you know your profession, and you don't have to prove that to anybody. Like, I don't have to prove to y'all what I've been going through, and I know it don't sound logical, and it's not fucking numbers, and you can't measure the shit, whatever. But I also don't have to prove to you what it is I know. Like, I know what he is. I know what I've seen. I've seen you. I know these things. I don't have to prove shit to anybody. I bring it up pretty sparingly. I try not to bog y'all down with that.
If Tony dies and he goes over there and he doesn't have a giant army, he's gonna come back and he's gonna be very upset. It's gonna be like, this is what you sold me. Like, why are you here as a zombie? No.
Are you taking it literal? No, because it's not supposed to be a literal thing. It's supposed to be a metaphor of his power, not literal. I don't know what the fuck. I've seen it, but it's a metaphor. It's a symbol. You gotta learn the language of what the fuck. See? You don't even know. Because you just is like this logical thing, and it has to be this way. It doesn't have to be.
Don't use analogies when they're not always apt. It's like, Tony comes back and a zombie Tony sitting up here waving his finger at you. It's just like, so you came back to life.
Zombies don't got shit to do with your spirit. It's just an animated body.
It's gonna be an animated body.
And he just gonna come back with just random Tony thoughts. Like,
it's just like,
what you over
here doing? Like you were over here and you told me
this
this
nigga
was
gonna be on our ass as a zombie talking about why y'all ain't working today. Why y'all not working today? His brains to be out here be eating and y'all not just do the same.
Right. Like, nigga, we dead.
Like,
Nigga,
you're
you
dead.
dead.
I'm not anymore, and thank God I'm not. I don't have to be over there anymore. That Rastafarian dude was sitting over here judging the hell out of me. So it's out of 5th grade. You took cookies from this kid. It's just like, I don't remember this. Well, you never repented for taking those cookies. Fuck that kid.
Anyway, if y'all got any thoughts on pain, because this is long.
Pain is required for growth.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Pain is a part of life. We didn't have it. We're grateful for shit.
I fucks with it.
Oh. Except for but also, you don't also seek out pain.
Huh.
It's like pain will come to you. You don't have to seek it out. Like, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna purposely make these mistakes. They're not mistakes, then they're choices. You're purposely making the wrong one. As of that point, you're self-sabotaging. I mean, purposely making the wrong choice is self-sabotaging.
I've done that many times because I just was like, I can't do this any fucking more. I'm going to choose the opposite. Like, I know what I'm bringing on to me. I don't know the level of extent, but
it's just like, if I reach inside of this contraption, I get a Cheez-It. If I reach inside of this one, I get smacked over the hand with a kendo stick.
But what if it's something
I don't
greater?
want any more Cheez-Its.
What if you get smacked with the kendo stick, but there's something like a reward for you for doing, you know what I'm saying? For doing
there's
something
no
risky.
after effect. You just got hit with a kendo stick.
It could be, but I'm also willing to take that risk.
No, they told you what was going. They told you what was going. It was very.
But you're
evident.
not afforded that.
There's like a whole dude.
This is why logical niggas just be weird as fuck. Like, where are you afforded that in life?
Get frustrated.
Yeah, like where are you afforded that in life where you just know what your options is all the fucking time? What?
I mean, you don't. All right, if you don't know what your options are, that means you don't have any options. Mm-hmm. Knowing what your options are is the first step to understanding that you have a choice to make.
Well, when you go to exercise, you choosing pain. Does it feel good? No. You hurt. You be sore. So you choosing that, ain't you? Is that stupid? No.
I mean, I'm choosing pain for a given result. I also allowed myself to get out of shape to begin with.
I'm gonna pretend.
So actually, by getting out of shape, I actually did choose pain. I made a bad choice, and it wasn't 100% conscientious every single time I made it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I did choose pain in my odd way. But also, there is this weird thing called runner's high after you get to a certain point and endorphins release in your brain. So it means that there are some good feelings there, actually.
See? Reward.
That's not really... I mean, but that's also known. It's also known, so I knew this was a thing once I got good enough at running. So I actively made this choice. And I also actively made the choice of this is going to keep me from dying. So I need to live long enough so that means I can do the Ghost of the Shell thing. Isn't that right, Tony?
That's all I need.
And then when I get my robot body and I'm going to be out here looking at y'all, like, that's the only reason why I need money. Really. I need this robot body. After I get, it's just like I literally just had the thought, if I actually ever became a billionaire and I was called back to speak at my college, I would just pay off all the kids' student loans there. Because I don't really need, like, billions of dollars.
No, I do.
I mean, I'm not going to spend it. Like, once I get an inordinate amount of money to the point where I can't actually spend all of it, what's the point?
Do a nonprofit, make more money. Come on, give some of it away.
That's not really. I don't really like nonprofits because most nonprofits are fucking selfish.
They are.
Or it's just like, I'm the CEO of this nonprofit. You're paying yourself $50 million a year?
Yeah.
How much money y'all bring in? Well, we take it in $250 million. You're taking.
I got people under me I gotta pay, and then I'm paying like service fees and then all the other shit, and it goes to the kids. It goes.
It's just like. And then people look at the amount of actual donations they pay out.
Y'all gonna be roasting me. Like, Katrina, ain't none of that shit go to them damn kids.
Fuck them kids. In the back of her mind. Fuck them kids.
Katrina, we in this nice ass condo.
Yeah, they're Chanel bags. I said they're Chanel bags. It's for the kids.
You're gonna be sitting there looking at him like right next to the Donald Trump fucking robot. It's just like, so you made it in here too. Yep.
I did it because I care.
It was 100% worth it though. I tried to break down that charity and move it from New York too.
I do everything the legal way though.
That's it. That's all you owe a motherfucker.
Outside of laundering all that money from that charity. It's like a charity paid for my last vacation.
It's not my fault. I got a good accountant. See. It's not my fault. I be like, it's not my fault. I got a good ass accountant.
She's just like, y'all know, yes. Money, it will make me evil. Money is the root of my fucking evil, like, motherfucker.
Trina, I'm going to need you to hand over your tax returns.
I'm not that terribly attached to money. That's just the way I
am.
Because I've seen people get overly attached to money, and I've seen the way it fucks with them. It messes around with their values.
I'm joking. I would never be that.
We can't believe you now.
It
just sounds so terrible.
But if it happens, I would be like, because money changes people, and I'm determined to not allow it to change me. Yeah. It's like, if I get it, it's gonna be like, all right, I got billions of dollars. What am I gonna do with this? Like, once you get to a
niggas,
it's just like
all of you. No, y'all in the room.
It's just like, I'm not really interested in owning people. I'm not interested in a lot of things. It's just like,
I'm gonna own all y'all.
All I really would own is probably all the things that I already own.
Like when people say, "Oh, I would give majority of my money away after I achieve it," I'm looking at them like they're crazy. But I understand.
That's what Bill Gates ultimately has done. He's not giving his kids shit. They got like
motherfucking.
3%.
They rich already. They fine. They ain't.
Who are you talking to? No.
What?
99.99% of the world is yours.
Y'all three. In here. I'm gonna be the sled dog.
This nigga mighty
lost your mind.
If I got
it's
like
you have
$200 billion.
That's not enough for you to own me. I'm never selling myself.
Yeah, I'm not asking you. I'll buy you.
Tony, how much you gonna be? Wait a minute. How much you will be worth?
I don't.
No. Oh, no, fuck that.
What?
I asked you how much do you want to be worth.
I don't have a value.
You don't have a value?
Exactly. So that's how I feel. You can't buy me, nigga. What are you talking to?
I'm going to your parents.
No, you're not.
My parents don't own me. They look at you twisted.
No, them niggas selling me. Them niggas selling my ass. They selling my ass. They gonna have to talk with me first. They're selling me.
I'm offering her parents
God damn.
50 mil.
Shit. I'm gone.
Bye. They selling ass.
Well, Ash, you never really feel like you belong anyway. Yeah, like you never feel like you belong anyway.
It could be worse,
sorry.
you know.
We gave him everything, every significant document about you. He's the person who controls all your, somehow we gave him control of your social security number, all your bank statements. Yeah, no, he owes you down to the last cent.
What I'm doing is I'm just going to find some good social security office worker and government official. And I'm just going to get all your information.
So basically what you're saying is my parents they're not going to sell me, so you're just going to commit fraud.
No, the government's going to sell you.
Oh my God.
Damn, what the type of evil shit is this? I was just talking about persons. Not human beings. Condos and shit. You talking about actual human beings.
You can try and come if you will.
I ain't the evil. I ain't the evil in the world. Tony is the evil in the world. He will try to buy
niggas in tandem. Whatever. One will feed the other. Tandem. One to feed the other.
No, we be terrible. He's like,
because he could control you with the money, and I don't know what you get from that.
I mean,
someone to control.
I tell you, just give me a condom. Give me a condom. No, you can't. No, you can't buy me.
I'm not no goddamn sled dog.
I'll find somebody to sell you. It might be the government as well.
Fuck you.
It's just like you out here with loving, caring parents.
I'm gonna put my ass on the corner. Just be like, hey, you worth something. Go make me some money.
Y'all don't need to make me no money. Y'all just gotta be around when I want y'all. Y'all go.
The fuck type of shit?
But when I'm ready to come over and hang out,
hell no.
Tony just wants to have captive friends.
Yeah, like just put me in
we gonna hang out.
A nice place, but just.
It's just like, Tony,
it's my anniversary with my wife. Nah, that's next week. What you mean? That's what I decided. It's next week now.
The fuck?
Well, he said no. He said
I bought her too, and you know what date it says on your marriage license now? next week.
Yep.
This is terribly illegal.
He said when the waits for a breakout and all the white people got died, he was gonna keep what's his name, Tekken.
Yeah.
He was gonna keep Tekken in the cage with his friend and another white bitch, so he could get fucked. Because he wasn't that cold
I love
hearted.
Tekken, but Tekken is staying in the cage. I'll keep it Tekken.
Yeah, I'll
So
keep
Tony, you would
it
actually just buy your friends. You'd be like,
If he
Charles,
no, I'm
20
not allowing
million.
this to happen.
Yeah, as long as
Ashley, 50.
I'm done, I'm sorry.
Is your ability to do anything else besides what I want you to do. I'm not buying your friendship. You guys already like me. So
I don't like it no more.
Instantaneously not like you
As soon as
anymore.
I got caught, nigga.
I'm good. I
I don't care
Never mind.
that now you're in your feelings and you don't like me because I did something.
Want to punch him in the face, wear May's
I own
outfit, and
you.
twirl around, do some
And I
jumping
did
jacks.
this purpose.
It's some weird
Oh no,
shit.
there was a stool and I said it was James Harden playing
I was gonna
defense.
say I've been this person the entire time. Y'all only don't like me now because it's affecting y'all.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But you're
y'all
still
my
mine.
friends.
Oh
Yeah,
my
y'all
God.
My
You're
friends.
still mine.
See,
You're
the only thing
fine.
is-
My friends.
See, you have to
slave
understand
contract is
that
this?
Tony is basically. See, Tony believes that he's already
Overseer.
basically done this. Because as of this point, we're like, some of us were going into business together. It is just like, see, I'm giving you money to get you to do what I want you to do on this given points in time. So I basically am already doing
Hey,
this.
Katrina, you want to go on this podcast with me?
If you need more money, and then or somebody else that'll just sell you to me if you don't want to cooperate.
Like Tony, are you an evil villain in real life?
Yes.
Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm money hungry, but you on another level. You talking about
You're-
owning
Money doesn't
people.
move me.
Money doesn't
Money-
move. Money
He's
moves the
ultimately
fuck
Lex
out.
I've
Luthor.
always had money. Like
I have.
He is Lex Luthor. It's more so.
But I have
money is
a line.
method to
money is a
control
method
things.
to control. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, money to me equals freedom. So
Well, yeah, that. But I guess for me, I've always had money, and so now money to me doesn't necessarily equal freedom. Cause shit, I was making $75,000 last year.
right.
I
He was
wasn't free.
happy at all.
I mean, but money on your own. I mean, just on your own. Like, do you
Before
do-
every single podcast,
But it's
that we
money on
did.
your own.
yeah,
But it's money on your own.
like
Oh.
you make it yourself,
How?
however you want.
He's saying every single drop of money has to come from someone else.
Yes.
There's some point that you have to get.
That
money
is
from
true.
somewhere
That
else.
is true.
So for
That
me,
is very true.
I don't care about money so much as
the fact
Power.
that everyone
that
else cares about
right
money.
now. Money is the currency of power.
So
If power was gained
Controlled by corn
violence,
or just like random stalks
or
of
by
corn.
I would have all the corn.
So Charles, what Game of Thrones character
Like, if
is?
we're in, like, the
It's Tony.
not the 1800s,
What-
but the 18th century.
What
the
Game
medieval
of
times,
Thrones character?
I would murder the fuck out of everybody because shit, that's
It's
how you gain
Tony.
power. This time is you got to get a lot of money. That's how you gain power. For me, it has nothing to do with like the levers. It's all about the options that it provides, the power. Everything else is superfluous. Money doesn't mean shit.
Do you-
I
Care
would
about it.
ultimately say
But what they do care
that
about is
he is.
I can give your grandma some medicine.
God. What is?
If you don't have health insurance and she's
Cersei,
sick
not
and she needs
Cersei.
this. So I need you to do these things for me.
Okay, Cersei Lannister.
No.
no.
Yeah, no, he's ultimately the patriarch of the Lannisters. Because what he did is he parlayed a bunch of gold into basically running the entire kingdom.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, what'd you do?
I'm-
I haven't had gold in forever. That shit's been dry. I still run this bitch though.
Yeah.
Like I'm Daenerys. Like I'm relentless
no
as fuck.
goal for a ad. You don't got no money?
No, this been a shell game for forever, baby.
Why are you in charge? Because you niggas let me, baby. I'm ready.
What'd you do? You know the funny thing is,
for forever.
the reason why I run things, I loan the kingdom a bunch of money, and now I basically own the kingdom. Now I
Jesus.
understand that I'm technically broke, but I'm broke because I gave all my money to the kingdom, and if at any point in time I decided to call in my debts, I can collapse the entire place.
Jesus.
So I run it.
Jesus, that is some evil shit.
Until you get choked out by a midget. But
Lannisters. Oh yeah, he sure did. He got choked out by a fucking
you
midget.
shouldn't be out here piping your
Game of
sons.
Thrones is the
You
best
shouldn't be out here
thing.
piping your guns.
Game of Thrones is the
Whoa.
best thing. I know
Sounds
you don't
well
like
racist.
people shit,
I know
but it
Game
was
of Thrones
good.
was cool.
Yeah, I'm Daenerys. All
I
right.
just couldn't get.
I want.
You were down with
I wanted everybody to just fucking burn.
When did it start? When did it come out?
Oh shit.
2014.
Oh wait, we were. Yeah, you were there because you were there for the Red Wedding when we were down in Brittany's basement.
Oh, that was some bullshit.
Oh yeah, so no, it came out in 2011.
Yeah, we've been watching. It's just the fact
Tony
that
went to the Air Force in 2011.
yeah.
So when it came on, I missed the season, and then was never willing to catch back up. That's what happened. 'Cause I watched the first season. I watched dude push little boy out the fucking tower. That was man. I was like, wow, all right. So we going here. With
People were fucking
this nigga.
People were fucking each other.
Sister.
No, that was his sister.
Sister.
That was his sister.
Twin sister.
Plenty of incest in that show.
Related or they should just, I think
Y'all look just alike.
all right, you tried to kill that little boy. Damn, he brought his whole family up here. Y'all are crazy as fuck. So no, it was good. And then I went to the Air Force and missed the season. And I was like, well,
man, you had to watch that shit.
And no, because then my friends, like, I talked to Brendan and all them, and they told me about the Red Wedding and just, like, basically told me everything that was happening. So then I didn't need it. Because as Charles knows, like,
they spoiled it.
It doesn't matter.
It's not about the spoilers. It's about the fact that basically the entire season of what he watched was pretty much pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I get it. All right.
It's an ultimate problem, and it's a problem that a lot of dark fantasy writers have, is the fact that they kill off all the people that people care about, and then people don't care about the show anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, what happened? I cared about the people, and you killed the people, so I don't care.
Rest in peace.
I got to get back to the show and see, like, build up like any affinity for new characters that you brought in.
Rest in peace to my girl Daenerys. She was right in the end.
No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
Become a dictator.
Other than that, do you have anything else to talk about?
Them people.
I think we're done.
Look.
Yeah,
All
right, turn it off. Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
I want to say what I need to say.
Sure.
Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us at Sleepy Melbourne on everything. Zero Cool on everything. Just Charles 009 on everything. And I don't think Trina is sharing her.
I do. Hold on. I built another one. I have three.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Look at this.
He really wants to press down.
Follow me at lovelybrown_7690. Thank you.
That took 6 years.
Shut up.